Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. We are switching gears here to address an incident that happened yesterday that I'm sure all of you are aware of. The question is President Biden attempting to spark a new nuclear war with his actions? Um, those of you who are not familiar, um, Biden authorized a launch into Russia um, on behalf of Ukraine, and that's not a good idea right now, in my opinion. But the question still stands. What's his intentions? That's all I'm trying to say. Is trying to figure out what type of intentions are we looking at. This is it's questionable with the timing that we're dealing with. Right? They have about a little over a month in office um, before Trump takes over, and is the intention to create a mess for the Trump administration? Is that what it is? If you're going to launch into Ukraine, why now is my question. And lastly, we're going to look at the doomsday clock. So this is going to be kind of an educational space. And we might start with that first. So, what is the doomsday clock? Well, there are people a lot smarter than me based on statisticians, who
I can't hear anything.
oh, can y'all hear me?
Yes, what happened?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. What was that? Did you hear me talk about the
It's,
doomsday clock?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's the
yeah.
last thing.
Okay, yeah, it must have. I don't know. Maybe they're fucking with us already. But this is a heavy shit, man. But but I have my First Amendment right, and I'm just trying to examine it. I'm really trying to learn. That's all. But so back to what I was saying. What's the doomsday clock? It's a predictive model to identify when nuclear war is going to happen and if it should happen. And it's there are different protocols to or identifiers that show when the where the doomsday clock is. So basically, according to this predictive model, midnight means midnight means nuclear war. And just look at that. Click on the picture in the jumbotron if you would, and look where we are right now. We are less than a minute. What they say? It's 90 seconds to midnight. That's not what I heard. I heard we were less than a minute from midnight. Um, So that's what the statisticians, the government statisticians say we are, like right on the brink of a nuclear war. All we need is one fool to do something stupid, one dictator to launch a missile, or one leader, American or NATO leader, to attack Russia. Y'all have to keep in mind that Vladimir Putin said that he threatened nuclear war a couple years ago, and I don't know. That launch on Ukraine kind of looked like the. Do y'all think Biden was trying to call Vladimir Putin's bluff? Is that what it is? Talk to me.
I think I think he's trying to cause problems so he can stay in office and say, "Oh, sorry, we're busy fighting the war. We can't hand over the reins." But the last time Russia threatened to nuke, he threatened to nuke people all through my childhood and ended up nuking their damn selves. They nuked their damn selves.
Chernobyl.
So do they know how? Yeah.
That's funny.
And now they have blue dogs running around, and the spider webs look a little bit drunk. And there's a whole lot of It'll never be right. Not in my lifetime. Thousands of years before that land heals. So, um, uh, they can do. I mean, like, what are you going to do about it? We're not in control of the buttons. They're the ones making all these they're threatening the planet just because this is personal vendettas. These are just little power moves to keep him in office. That's all he wants to do.
Wow. So let's go back. You said something that I can't let go. Are there blue dogs walking around Chernobyl?
Yes, there
Wow,
are.
you weren't kidding. I would love to see that. Like how blue?
Let me look, because they said blue, but yeah, some of that stuff is really crazy looking. The
Wow.
spider web was the spider web was like it looked like the spider was on mega crack.
Didn't know what he was doing. 7-4, what's on your mind, man?
Yeah, one of the reasons why I got on so-called Twitter or X, whatever the hell they're gonna call it tomorrow, is because I wanted to follow those. I wanted to follow the war in Ukraine and
Right?
authorizing the Biden. He should have done that from the jump, giving the Ukrainians authority to strike deep into Russia, because that would have ended the war quicker. But the reason why he's authorizing it now is because he knows there is no consequence, because Trump is coming in, and if Putin thinks he can get a better deal under Trump, he will, he will try to restrain himself. But as far as nuclear war, I'm not afraid of that, because uh, if Putin knows, if he goes nuclear, that it's a suicidal option for him, because he's under surveillance by the NSA has him under complete surveillance. And so if he goes nuclear, he knows that it's his ass. So that doesn't really concern me. With that, I yield the mic.
Yes, Biden has gotten
Yeah,
real petty.
go
No,
ahead.
I'm just letting you know that Biden has gotten real petty. He's upset. He feels like something was done to him, so he's going to try to get his get back before he gets out of office. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, probably. But as
Right.
far as that doomsday clock, the closest we've come to nuclear war was the Cuban Missile Crisis, and and if I can't remember right, but it was at 7 minutes to midnight back then. So I wouldn't put too much stock in that
Seven,
doomsday clock
I
shit.
think I think it was 7 seconds. It wasn't 7 minutes,
Oh,
7 seconds.
I don't think they're going to nuke us because where would all these losers go? They have to keep this area free of radiation or they won't have anything to mooch off of and parasite off of and suck off of. They're not going to nuke us. And if they do, then the whole world will have to stay in their original countries and stay out of here.
I talked to somebody I'm not going to identify today. Let's just say he's in the military and he has a very high clearance. We're just going to leave that right there. But this gentleman told me, he said a nuclear war is not going to happen. He's like, that shit ain't going to happen. And I trust this guy's judgment. Come on, Twizzle.
Hey, happy hump day, everybody. Hey, what's up,
That's it.
Professor? Hey, Nikki the God, Sister Wani. Hey, Sister Wani, I want to ask you a question. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Remember back in the 80s? I think it was like 85, 86, 87. Remember when they used to have them old school TV shows about nuclear war, like the day after and the apocalypse and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that? How they
Yep.
used to talk about what would happen if a nuclear war would hit. Now it's coming to fruition right now, damn near 40 years later, because they was doing this in the 80s. I remember when we was going to elementary school, they used to prepare us for what would happen if a nuclear war would hit, because out here on the West Coast, they tell us to prepare for earthquakes, either get in a doorway or get under a desk. But if a nuclear something hit,
Mm-hmm.
we had to get to a basement or go underground somewhere.
Yep.
So this is what this is bringing me up. You know what I'm saying? That's all I want to say, Sister
That's
Wani. That's
correct.
it.
They had little white kids hiding under the desk. By the time I came along, we had some other kind of drill. So they had us terrorized because of that for the whole time that I was young.
Right. And what's hiding on a desk gonna do when that
I don't
mad when
know.
It's like earthquake in the earthquake drills out here in California. We have earthquakes and we're subjected to earthquakes, especially in the Bay. So every year in school, we would have earthquake drills. So in school, we would have to get under our desk in case something fall. But when you're in the house, if an earthquake happened, you get in your door jamb. You open up the door and you get in the doorway. Why? Nothing will fall on you until the doorway is the strongest place in the house. I done heard people talk about how they jumped in the bathtub. No, you don't get in the tub during the earthquake because shit will fall on you. You either get under something that's sturdy, like a table or a desk, or you get in a door jamb. You open up the door and you stand right there in the door jamb. That's like the safest place during the earthquake.
Yep, that's all true.
Well, as far as far as getting under a desk when a nuclear weapon goes off, when the nuclear thermonuclear weapons have a primary and secondary. So primary is an atomic weapon. Secondary uses that energy, the gamma rays from that atomic um, trigger. They call it an atomic trigger to fuse hydrogen. So you have a very massive hydrogen, two hydrogen atoms come together and make one helium atom, and in that you get a really big ass explosion. Well, I'm saying that to say, why the fuck you gonna hide up on the desk? Because once that mass goes critical, I mean, the desk turns into
What I was
firewood.
saying though, they said if that was to happen, we were to get under. We were supposed to go to the basement or underground. The desk was for the earthquake, Professor. Yeah, but let me ask you this though: what is the radius of a nuclear blast?
Oh wow. Well,
Depends
let's
on the
say
tonnage.
Huh?
it does.
Say it
The
again.
yield, it
Tonnage.
depends on its,
Say that
yeah,
again. Tonnage.
the yield.
Okay.
Yes, the tonnage,
Seven
the
four.
megaton tonnage.
Meaning, like how far? Like how
Yeah.
many miles would it? How many miles can a nuclear blast expand? You know what I mean, with the radiation and everything. Like what? About 5, 10 miles, something like that.
Yeah, like if you got a good
Well,
megaton, yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Because out
well,
here, I
it's
just want
more
to say this.
complicated.
I want to say this, Professor, because out
Go
here,
ahead.
we are living in fear of China because Vladimir Putin said that he has the nuclear capability to hit America. He has the nuclear capability to hit from Florida all the way to Virginia. And we know that China is going to hit too, and they're going to come from there. So they're going to hit California. And everybody knows war. What were they going to hit? They're going to hit our weapons and they're going to hit our breadbasket. And California is America breadbasket. So that's what we're living in fear.
They're all
And
over
we know,
here.
yeah, we know they're going to hit Silicon Valley with an EMP
That's
because
where they
that's the tech.
live.
Yeah, that's the tech community. So they're going to hit that with an EMP, and that's what we kind of worried about out here. You know what I'm saying? It's
But that's
nuclear.
them. Why would
Yeah.
they blow themselves up?
No telling what these motherfuckers would do. Like they said, they like to blow shit up just to rebuild it back from the ground up. You know what I'm saying?
That's that Shiva
9/11. You know what I
energy.
mean? But that's all. Go ahead, y'all.
That's the
Yeah, just
Shiva energy. Blow everything up
yeah.
and then make it anew.
Destruction is a form of creation. Professor Noam Chomsky says the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists has what it calls a doomsday clock. It started in 1947, right after the bomb was used. Stop it, Piglet. My dog, it jumps in the bed and starts fixing the bed like no shit. I'm like, why are you fixing the bed?
Piglet.
You named your dog
Yeah,
Which
Piglet
that's
from Winnie the
style?
Pooh.
if
Which
you've seen
style
her when
dog
she
is this?
a pit bull. If you've
Pit
seen her when she was
bull.
yeah, if you've seen her when she was a puppy, you would totally understand. But occasionally jumps in the bed and like starts fixing cover and shit. I'm like, dude,
What
why are you
color?
doing that?
What
She's
color?
white and fawn.
Oh,
I'll put a picture of a piglet in there in a moment. But he says the clock measures the distance that we are from midnight. Midnight means termination. Just 2 years ago, the clock was moved 2 minutes closer to midnight to 3 minutes before midnight. So yeah, that's where we are right now. This book is recent, but
I just want to tell you, you
yeah,
disrespectful naming your dog Piglet, dude. You have
man,
disrespectful.
bro, if you seen her, you would take that
the
back.
skin. The skin looked like piggly, right?
Well, hold on. Let me go on my
This nigga
Instagram and
named
get a
his
Let
picture.
dog
me see the
Piglet. I
fur.
can't get up.
Let me see the fur.
You
You
named your
got you got
dog
to.
Piglet. I know a white pig, but
Let me
my nephew got one. We named her Powder. You know what I'm saying? But she white and she pink. And they named her
Yeah.
Piglet. You named your pit bull Piglet. That's supposed to be your heart. And you named her Piglet, dude.
I thought that was the cutest thing. I thought that was the cutest thing when he told me that he named his baby Piglet.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
let off the man.
no,
Let him off.
now y'all gonna you're gonna change everything. Change your sentiment once you see a picture of Piglet, the red nosed pit bull.
A
I put
pit
all
bull
those.
though, a
I,
pit bull though at that. I know when you go around, you be like, "Hey, Piglet," people gonna be looking at you crazy, like this nigga just called pit bull Piglet.
I put a lot of blue dogs in the chat. Or, yeah, it's actually in the. No, it isn't. It's in the chat. Yeah, these dogs are blue. They said they rolled around in Prussian blue, but they're very blue and they're running all over the place.
Did
Holy
they stay?
shit. Dog is
Did they
fucking
stay blue? Did those dogs stay blue, Wani? It'd be different if they were.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
And they're blue. Whatever they did.
that's
Is it
a
cobalt
blue ass
radiation?
dog.
Uh they're claiming that they got into an ingredient and rolled in it or something, but it's a little bit odd to have all those dogs running around with perfectly blue coats.
Yeah. Why would
It
their
could be
faces be blue?
cobalt radiation.
Would that make things blue?
Cobalt, I think, has a blue tint to it.
This is not my field of expertise.
Mine neither. If y'all looking at Jumbotron, you see a baby picture of Piglet, the red-nosed pit bull.
Oh,
You get it now?
that's what I
Yep.
thought.
Oh, she's
She's
pretty.
14 now.
She look like a little brown sugar thing to me, but she pretty.
Yeah, she is. She doesn't look. She's a runt. So right now she's still 35, 40 pounds. She goes up and down, but she's stronger than a motherfucker. But she just doesn't have a. Some pits look threatening. She looked like what that dog? That dog ain't gonna do nothing. She's tiny. Yeah, buddy. So back to what we were talking about. I think we're looking at tactics to stay in office. It should martial law be declared. Doesn't I think Biden would have more options. Lincoln did a whole bunch with martial law when he declared martial law. He was able to shut down the press, so you can shut television down, outreach for.
That will
So
really be the end
hopefully
of
that's
the.
not what he's trying to.
You're, you're breaking up. That would really be the end of the Democrats if
Do.
they do that, if they try to hold on to power by cheating, which I already identified that they tried to cheat 11 times and still lost. So they're not even good at cheating. But if they do that, we're looking at a full scale riot.
They cheated
Oh
in
yeah, Civil War
2020.
all day.
But see, in
Yeah,
2020,
2020.
I didn't investigate that one, but I did investigate this one, and they definitely have been cheating.
Sister Wanda,
Black Hayes, talk to her.
You know what Jim just want to say is, you know what Jim Jordan said? He said, "How come 2020, Trump got the same amount of votes he got, but Biden got five? I mean, Kamala Harris got 5 million less votes that Biden got. You know what I'm saying? That's the $1 million question right there. Go ahead."
Black Hayes,
Yo,
holler at
yo,
us.
what's up?
What's up? What up?
Hey, so if I know we all were talking about potential attacks that could happen or whatever, um, but the thing is, I don't even think it would have to be a a national attack on United States land. Like even if they attack like a territory or one of our allies, I think they would maybe try to put a halt to like any type of inauguration or anything like that.
Hmm. Interesting. So you talking about using a tactic to slow down the process of installing President Trump?
Yeah, like the same thing they've been doing in Ukraine because Zelensky was been supposed to they had an election going on over there, but they halted it due to the war and everything.
Wow. Like Wani said, if that gets out, that it's over. It is over. People are gonna have it's gonna be a full out civil war. There's a book by Stephen. I don't know if it's March or Marche, but he's a Canadian imperial data analyst. Like he just looks at numbers, and it came out about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, Stephen Marsh Shea, whatever his last name is, looked at the data in America and said, "Holy shit, we're in a civil war right now. Like there are different stages to a civil war. Like right before you hit civil war, it's like I think it's called like a civil conflict, civil unrest or some shit. And Stephen Marsh said we've been in civil unrest for the last several years. So we're just like waiting on one event, one inciting incident to get it triggered, you know. And I don't want a civil war. I almost thought one was gonna pop off during the last Trump administration. I remember driving home one day and it was fucking National Guard everywhere, you know. But it didn't quite happen.
Well, the country overwhelmingly voted, has a mandate, and all of the little tricks they're trying to do, trying to make Kamala the first president, still lying out of their face about her race. Oh, she's the first black president. All we have to do is scooch Biden out of the way right now. They're doing everything. They've even sent some of the, no, I'm not going to name the names, but some weirdo out of the side pocket talking about Biden needs to step down. So what's Kamala going to do? Not authorize these bombs? They all need to go. We need a fresh look in that office, and it's neither one of them.
Hey, man. Twizzle.
Hey, Professor Sister Ronnie, have you ever heard of that executive order called 13606?
Nope.
That order was an executive order that they put in, and they were saying that the Obama was going to put it in. Basically, it's an order stating that in a time of war, the president could abolish the
You broke up, Twizzle.
The
make
president
himself
can
the
do what?
yeah, my phone started ringing. The president has the right to abolish the Congress and the Senate and make himself the executive chief until he sees fit. I
Holy
watched Dick
shit.
Gregory. I watched Dick Gregory do this broadcast, and they thought Obama was going to do it. Me personally, I thought Trump was going to do it. But when they just had the peaceful succession, I was like, wow, it may not be, but that's so order that's out there. It's called 13606 in a time of war, saying like if it's about to be a war or if America get attacked by a foreign entity, the president has the right to abolish the Congress and the Senate and make himself the
Oh,
executive chief until fit. Yeah, look it up.
so they
I mean,
might
let me
be
see if I
trying
can
to
find the
they
right
might
book
be trying to get bombed so they can do that.
or make some shit happen. A la October 7th, if you know what we mean.
Mm-mm. I hear what you're saying, man. Seventh Ward, talk to us.
Yeah, you mentioned about the Civil War, and I think with the election, not only did we dodge a bullet, but we dodged an asteroid because had Harris cheated her way into the White House, the population that has guns would probably not have accepted her, and I think we would have seen something like a civil war. So I'm not saying we're not going to have a civil war. I'm saying for the time being, it's been delayed or postponed. So with that, I yield the mic.
Yeah, America goes through cycles. You know what I'm saying? What did Bobby Hemmings say? You'll know the end, you'll know the beginning. I'm saying it backwards. You'll know the end when you know the beginning. America started with a civil war. You know, the American Revolution was a civil war. So America goes through cycles historically of having civil conflict and near civil conflict. It's not what I want, not what we want, but it's just reality. You know, fish and grits. What's on your mind? Come on, fish and grits. Can you hear me, fish and grits?
Yeah, I had the radio on in the background. How you doing, everybody? I want to say quick. You was about to jump on a point. I was gonna say you saying a lot of stuff. You ever read this book by Lee Harris called "Next American Civil War"? The populist elite versus the liberal elite versus the. Let me wait a second. Let me get it right now. Let me see, get the couple. 1 second.
Yeah, I haven't read that. That sounds interesting.
1 second. 1 second.
Go ahead. Well, while he searches around, you have to look back at history and see that there are always a culmination of events that happens before America tumbles into a civil war magnitude social unrest. If you think back to the American Revolution, interestingly enough, Um, the British um, uh, were kind of a noble class. The British soldiers had a higher status, even though they weren't royalty. They had a higher status than the poor white colonist. Therefore, the British had preferential treatment with the ladies. A British soldier known as a redcoat would show up to the bar and be like, "Give me your broad, give me your girl. She's coming home with me." See, real history is not taught in America. If we were taught real history, we would know what the word Yankee means. We say it all the time. Some of us get called Yankees. Some of us call ourselves Yankee. To my New Yorkers in the room, does anybody know where the word Yankee comes from?
No.
The word Yankee comes from British soldiers who were making fun of American white male colonists. Why? Because they would go to bars, they would go to rooms, dances, and steal their women. Like just say, "Come on, you coming with me? I'm British. Come with me." And the women would go with them because they were British and they had more status. And when the white American colonists got mad and said, "Leave my woman alone," the British would call them a Yankee. That the supposition being I'm about to go fuck your broad. You're going home and jerking off, which is yanking. So basically,
What?
hell yeah, that's what that shit means.
Oh no.
You
They
fucking
called it a
yank.
Boston massacre.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
With Crispus Attucks. Yeah, you're a Yankee. You like I'm fucking your broad, and you're going to
Oh,
jerk off.
I
Wow.
never used
I
that
thought
term.
Yankees was partying too much.
Oh
Nah,
I
no.
got that.
Yanks. You
I
fucking
know
Yankee.
that
Yeah, you
the
jacking off.
I
Yankees
Yeah,
like yanking is
cause
jacking off.
Wait. We could go. We could put some history in that one. Remember, there's no Y's in the old English, and one of them alphabets is no Y's. So all the things that has a Y on it used to be a J. So yes, Jenking.
no,
Oh
not
my
during that
what
God.
time.
happened?
I hear what you're saying, but it's the wrong time period.
Oh
Yankee
Lord.
was it did
They're
exist.
saying that the derogatory term.
Nigga took
That
it back
was
to
very,
Jesus
very
Yeah,
time.
weird.
you went way too far back. You're
That's
Wait, but
right.
but he said the
hold
cover of this
on.
book
The J
is
is
the
not in the Hebrew alphabet. Lord,
No, it's
stop.
not.
or the Spanish
Stop a moment. Relax.
or the
But that's
Spanish.
crazy. That's crazy where that name come from because the biggest sporting team in the world, the New York Yankees, the New
Right.
York Jackoffs. Wow.
The the new the New York jerk offs.
I
The New
Ain't
York
heard
that
jerk
something?
offs.
Caribbeans. So I
In
heard Caribbeans.
all the years I worked for the Oakland A's, only if I would have known that when the Yankees came to play us every year,
I
man.
thought it
Oh
was an
man.
insult from Caribbeans to imply that we were white. I didn't know what it meant, to be honest.
They
I
don't
don't
know what the
use the
fuck it
term.
means.
Yeah, they don't know anything. We know that.
Hey,
Yeah.
Professor, me personally, doing my history and my research, the British hate us because they thought that we never took shit serious. They said all we did was since we got our freedom, only thing we ever did was party and kick it. That's why they always called us Yankees. So that's where I got that term from. You know what I'm saying?
History is so critical. Like if you know it and analyze it, it makes perfect sense. So if you go back to British English history, the king who runs the land, everything belongs to the king. And our legal system is designed after that feudal system. A lot of people don't know that, but we are walking around in a goddamn English feudal system, basically, at law. But anyway, long I digress. The point is, in the English noble hierarchy, the king owns everything in the fucking land. They say the land is the king and the king is the land. Well, he owns everything, including your wife. So when you get married, there's something called first rights. So if you get married, the king has before your honeymoon, the king has first rights with your wife. Like he gets to knock that shit out before you have
Any
it.
king, lord, or nobleman.
But so let's superimpose that on the soldiers. The soldiers, the British, the redcoats were a subsidiary of that royalist system. So the redcoats walking around fucking Boston and New York would just walk around and take people's girl, like fucking give her here, you goddamn yank. That's where that's where the goddamn the uh the American Revolution came from. Dudes was sick of the redcoats fucking their broads. And they're like, you know what? Fuck this. We just gonna fucking fight.
Hey, Professor, tell them where the
Yes,
word
sir.
fuck, tell them where the word fuck come from. They'll
It
trip out
comes
when
from
they hear that.
King Henry VIII. His perverted ass. He wanted to. He England's so evil. He wanted a divorce. He wanted a divorce, and the Catholic Church wouldn't give it to him. So he said, "You know what? I'm gonna create my own church, the Church of England, which still stands to this day. It's still Church of England, and Church of England allowed him to have a divorce, so he could have sex with more women. But
Uh-huh.
anyway,
That
he
started the
created
Catholic to Protestant war.
right. He created a letter that basically says, "Your Majesty, I want to cheat on my wife," and it was called a fuck letter. And it's
Uh-huh.
the fuck. Fuck is an acronym. It stands for fornication
Vacation
under the
under consent
consent
of the
of
king.
the king. So you had to write a fuck letter if you want to
Yep.
cheat on your wife.
And not only that, they will put a sign outside your door saying fuck, saying that they has permission to fornicate under the consent of the king.
Consent of the king.
That's where the word fuck
What?
come from. You got
Yep.
permission. The king
I
gave you
can't even
permission to
curse
have
straight
sex.
no more.
Yep.
What
Yep.
words
You
can
got
I use that are safe?
Fornication under consent of the king.
consent of the
So
I'm
king.
not
we
Yeah.
we
saying
got
all that.
permission to have sex. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that
Yep.
some crazy shit? Just like 12 inches is the size of a king's foot. How we say 12 inches is a
Oh
foot.
Lord.
We got that because the size of one king, I think it was King Henry the Eighth. His foot was 12 inches, so that's where a foot come from. Because his foot was
Oh
12
Lord.
inches, that's where the measurements come from.
Oh my
Because
Well,
of
God.
a king.
well, the fucked up part about this is we read a lot of us in the black community read the King James version of the Bible, and King James it has a real interesting history. He was LGBT, and he didn't like girls, but his mom said, "You're going to give me an heir to continue this legacy." So he said, "Ah, fuck, I married her." He married her and didn't have sex with her, and she would walk around bragging that she was a virgin. She was proud of it. But King James, rather, King James' mom said something about his sexuality, and King James had his fucking mama killed. He had his mama killed before he wrote the Bible.
What
That
did
a
she
lot of
say? What did she say? He
we
also
don't
wrote
we,
that demonology book, and
sure did.
that
The,
was that
King
spawned the whole witch hunts.
King
I,
James Stewart of Scotland, King James Stewart of Scotland of the Stuart dynasty, he was really gay. He got
I,
that palace. Lord Buckingham, he
Buckingham, that
got
was
that
his
yeah,
man.
he got
That
that after a dude he was infatuated with, but
He
Lord
was
Buckingham
Buckingham.
wouldn't fuck
no,
with
that
him.
was his
No,
man.
Lord
That
Buckingham wouldn't fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? He was infatuated with him. That's why he was giving him
that,
so much
that
shit, but Lord Buckingham wouldn't fuck with him.
I no, I've read articles that said that they were entangled. Like but that
Well,
was
his
his
name
boyfriend.
is Buckingham, so I don't know.
And
But
that's
that's
your
Wait,
Buckingham Palace.
Professor.
Buckingham
hold on one
Palace
second.
was named
Suspect.
That
after him.
but
Sounds suspect.
that's your answer, Wani. That's what happened to uh his mama. That what I read was his mama said something about Lord Buckingham, and then he had his mama killed. After that, he wrote the Bible that people read.
Did did she say were you bucking on that ham or what?
I'm
No,
not
she
sure.
just knew he was a sword swallower. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
boy.
Careful,
That's why
don't get our page canceled. We
Oh
have
I
brother.
said sword swallower. That's
w-
it. I was polite. You know what I'm saying?
and just for the record, we have nothing against anybody's we support all lifestyles, and we you know we're not bigots on this page. We're just
We
telling.
just said it. We just said it in here earlier, man. Come on, we just spoke about it earlier. But hey, I was just wanted to speak on that because we were talking about the Europeans and antiquity around their time, and I read something, and I came across something very
Dang
interesting in
it.
the past week. You hear me, Professor?
Hold on, Twizzler. I was gonna let Robbie
Go
speak.
ahead.
Robbie, and
Go
he
ahead. I'm
disappeared.
sorry. Go
Robbie
ahead.
Blue, come back. I was just about to let Robbie speak. Robbie, come back.
Let me land. Let me land. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. I found the book.
Land where? What were you even
Robbie
saying?
is not in a. I don't see Robbie in a space anymore. I'll
He was
try to
Yeah,
talking
get
about
him.
that
I was
Civil
on that.
War, and
I'll go
I
get
have a,
him.
You just told us that the letter J was missing and it was a whole nother alphabet.
Spanish too. Spanish too. There's no
Why
J in the
should we
Spanish
let you
alphabet.
land? What under what authority?
Look it up. I ain't gonna argue with you. I knew that.
What authority?
And she said, she said, what is he trying to land?
But yeah, like I said, it's the populace vote against the liberal elite. That's just it. The liberal elite versus the common man. Yeah, it'll be next Civil War.
Yeah, you
Okay.
got
What
your
happened?
timeline a little off. But I mean, you're right. But it's your timeline is off. It did exist during the period we're talking about.
You're right. You're right. But I'm saying no. You're right. But I'm saying I want to get back to that Civil War conversation. That was the good conversation. Yeah, I don't know who turned it.
Man,
Who,
fuck y'all niggas,
yeah.
man. Y'all some goofy ass niggas, man. Shit.
nigga, go fuck
Y'all some
yourself.
hoe ass niggas, man.
I don't even
Fuck y'all
I don't even
niggas, man.
understand. I don't understand your
You's a
language.
hoe, man. You's a hoe, man.
And you got kicked off my space.
Your mama's a hoe, bitch.
Go away. And check this out. You didn't disrupt
Who's
anything.
hurt?
We don't respect you.
Who
Go
is
away.
he? Can I
Sound
know
like
the
somebody just
I
got
see
idiot?
the mic
emotional
moving.
right quick.
Yeah, an
Oh, that.
emotional man, a very emotional man that
Uh,
has.
Go suck, start a shotgun, bitch.
Yeah, he does.
That's a jealous
Hey,
man.
That sound like a white boy. You
don't
heard
even
that? Heard
play
that?
into it.
Like bitch. Heard his pronunciations. That sound like a white boy.
Don't play into it because
um,
he's not worthy of
is
being on
he
the stage.
I want
is he a
Sister Wani to
gnome?
roast him. I want Wani to roast him. She ain't had no red meat in a while. I want
Yeah,
Wani to roast
come
him.
back, pious PhD. Come on back.
No.
Come on
I
back.
have a bad reputation. I do not roast people. That's all lies.
Well, they came for
I'm here for
you.
you, Wani.
They
Don't
came
worry.
for
Don't
you and
worry.
they
I'm here for
disappeared.
you.
So hey, you still got your claws out. So where is he at?
I'm here with you, Wani. You say whatever you want.
All right, Robbie
No,
Dull. What's on your
I
mind?
was wondering what his argument with us was.
He just like oh, hold on, hold on. Let's bring him on up.
Do
Hold on, Robbie Dull. Hold on. Let's bring this idiot back up.
do you know him, or
I don't
like
know
is he
who
a
he
new?
is, but I don't respect him, and he about to get ate alive. Hold on one second.
So he just came in, got into an argument with us, and we weren't talking to him. Is
No,
that
he
what you're
just
telling
came
me?
in just
We don't
cussing
know him.
everybody out for no
Who's the
apparent
weirdo?
reason.
Who's the
Hold on,
weirdo?
Let's hear this.
What?
All right, room. Let's be quiet for a second. Pious PhD. Number one, what's your lineage?
Why would you care about my
He's
lineage, nigga?
Caribbean.
Damn.
Yeah. He
Y'all
probably
niggas are
Jamaican.
boring, man. Y'all niggas are boring.
Hold on one
Shut
second.
this fucking
Ho-
space
Sound like a
down, man.
tether to me.
Hold on.
He's
I shut his
Caribbean.
ass up. So what do
He's
you
a
have a PhD?
rapist. He's an
Shut this
Arab.
shit
Hey, what
down,
do you
He's an
have a
nigga.
PhD
Arab
in?
child
Y'all
molester.
What do you have a PhD in?
and
Child
fucking your pimping your mom.
molesting.
And I just shut you up like I shut you up like a child. What you gonna do about that?
Fuck your mom.
Dude, you talking like you got a fourth grade education.
He's got a
What do you think about the
Yes, he
issue?
does. They drop out of school at fourth grade here in America and work in the stores. He's an
He's
Shut
Arab.
up, your low IQ, nigga.
Hello,
No,
can you
Fuck
no,
hear
nigga.
no,
me?
You're a
no. Your
fucking
mother with
gent.
her fat ass.
Hello, can you hear me?
Unwrap her.
yeah. I'm bored now. Yeah, go away.
Yeah, get out. I
Yeah.
don't want to know you no more. Bye bye. Go away.
Yes,
he's
yes, yes,
Can you
yes.
hear
hold
No,
me?
no. Bring him
on.
back up. Bring him back up. He's an Arab, a filthy Arab that stinks.
Nah,
What's the title say?
I blocked his ass. Next. We got
Is Biden
You can
trying to
smell him.
fight
You can smell him
nuclear
off the
war?
screen.
He was
You can smell him off the
Arab, and
stage.
Are we minute from midnight?
he
hold
has
on one second.
some.
Robbie Doe, what's on your mind?
I'm just reading the title. I don't understand the language and what's going on, all the arguments. I just
Hold on. Hold on one second, Robbie Doe. I got a question for you, my friend. What's your lineage? Where are your parents from?
shit, I don't know. I'm mixed.
What's
You don't know where your
mi-
parents are.
you're mixed with what?
Damn.
What do you mean?
Oh my God.
What do you mix with? You said you're mixed.
He doesn't know.
Rapist and child molester. Turkish and
Hey,
Arab.
stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Damn, fish.
Yeah, that's becoming disruptive fishing grip.
Spastic.
Robbie Doe, where are your parents from? Robbie is got I got bored. I'm bored with him already. I'm gonna remove him. All right. Anyway, let's see what Art has to say about this issue.
Art is
Well,
always
every
on
time
the
What's on your
every
mind,
time
Art?
black people get together to build, people always come in and distract.
Art is always on
They
the
don't work
That's
here
cutting.
one
because
thing about it.
He's on the cutting
it
edge
don't work
of
here because we get rid of them.
conspiracies. Let's hear.
We don't entertain that bullshit on my page. We ask them a couple questions and then they mumble and say some obscenity and then they guys gotta go. Come on, Art. What's on your mind?
I just came to post this meme because it's perfect for your title. Yeah. Um, yes, Biden's trying to do that. He's a scumbag. Um, wait. I thought we was seconds before midnight. On the, if you talking about the atomic clock, is that what you're talking about?
I don't know this lingo.
Who's talking right now? Is it Art who's talking, or is it?
Oh
Yes.
shoot, I'm talking to myself. The mute was on. We're 90 seconds to midnight.
Oh shit. We gotta be closer than that by
Yeah,
now. So you're right, it probably is a minute.
right. A lot of people don't like the atomic clock because it hadn't been proven. I think Seventh Ward kind of said that it hadn't been proven to be so accurate. But really, if you look at the logic, we're in a position to possibly get into a nuclear conflict, which really none of us want. Eggs and bacon. What's your take on the title?
Oh, I don't think he's trying to start a war. I don't think so.
What's he doing?
Why not?
Well, cause I don't. I think the Hollywood like in me wants to think that like he has some nefarious plan to do so. But I actually really think like I think they want to make a bunch of money, have a lot of fun, fuck over like poor people and powerless people, but I don't think any of them actually want to die. Like I really don't think they want to start a nuclear war. I don't know. That's just my take. Like I think I think these are some bad people that run the world, but if they're I really don't think they want to die though. And even if they do have these bunkers that keep them protected from it and blah blah blah, I don't think anyone wants to like I don't know, it just sounds like a lot of work, you know? Like even if you're super rich, like that like resetting society, that just doesn't sound fun. I'm not seeing like the incentives to blow up the world here. I don't know. That's just me though.
Well, yeah, yeah, but you also, if I could be devil's advocate, you can look at certain people. I'm not going to say his name, but certain people are into certain powerful rich people are into the depopulation of the world. But then again, using nuclear weapons would poison the land, so it couldn't be usurped and taken later on. So I don't know, man. I think these people are crazy. Come on, Kanye.
What's up, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm gonna quote Ti. To understand my train of thought, you had to put yourself in my position. You can't expect me to think like you, because my life ain't like yours. Don't think how you would think, because these people don't think like us. You never know what they
That's
got
true.
going on. These people are
Right.
death cultists. They celebrate death. They hunt people for fun. They do all type of evil shit. You never know. Um, but yeah, no, man. What's up, man? I just came here to speak. How y'all doing, bro? What's up, Wani, Nikki, Professor?
Yes, sir.
And to answer the question, I don't know what the hell Biden got going on. I think he just trolling at this point. Like, fuck it, let's get these people some missiles. Like, he only got about 5 more years to go anyway, so he already playing with 4 fouls. He think I might as well foul out now. So, and I just think that Zelensky realized that the money train stopped when Trump get in office. So he like, fuck it. You take a look at what Putin did. He actually went and lowered the and this is where it gets kind of weird. Right? He lowered the threshold limit to use nukes against people. And now he's saying that any country that's supplying Ukraine who has nukes and Ukraine hits them is considered an act of war against both of them. So it's really strange. We'll see what happens. I mean, it could be a good bargaining chip. We still got 2 more months before Trump take over, so I think they can wait it out until then. I mean, either way it go, Ukraine's gonna lose some land and a lot of it.
A
Probably
whole
devastate.
lot of it.
Yeah, they're gonna lose land. I mean, and I think it's a necessary evil because they need access to the Russians need access to the sea. I don't think it makes sense. If not, they're gonna keep doing this shit. We already crossed the line. We added Poland and NATO, so we'll see.
Well, here's the thing, man. It's none of our business. Like one of my good friends was from Ukraine in high school, and he would tell me 20 years ago that the Ukrainians are Russian. Like Ukraine used to be Russia, a very old part of Russia, and which is why Putin wants it back. He's a nationalist, and he wants to bring unite Russia. And I'm not a Putin fan. I'm not caping for him. I'm just giving logic. My friend before he got killed said in Ukraine they speak Russian because they're cousins and shit. They're like literally genetically
It's a
related.
knockoff. Yeah, it's a knockoff country, just like Eritrea is a knockoff country of Ethiopia.
Right, right, right. So this is my take on it, my 2 cents. Why we need to stay out these people business.
The
You know what I'm saying?
seventh disagrees. It's not a knockoff.
Come on, seven
Come
four.
on
What
and
you
tell
got?
me off. Tell me off.
No, actually, the Russians are a knockoff of the Ukrainians
Oh,
because
well,
Ukrainians are the Russian ancestors. It used to be called Kievan
yeah, I
Rus,
get what you know. I
uh,
understand what you're
but
saying.
but no,
It's
we don't
Kiev, right?
want to give Putin any land because that would set a bad precedent.
Yeah, that's right. Kiev.
And that precedent would be that a nuclear armed dictatorship could do what they want and get away with it. I don't want to live in that kind of world.
But it's not doing what they want though. It's literally okay. Hold on.
Yes, it
Listen,
is.
I think it
listen.
is.
Like nobody asked you first off, but I'll explain to you why it's not. Right.
No, wait. What you
This was.
said?
Hold on. Let's go to Kanye, and then we'll go to seven four, and then I
Oh
think
boy.
LJ wanted to comment. So
Yeah, I was talking
Kanye,
to
go ahead.
Seven War, not the European. Anyway, so check this out, Seven War. This was always going to happen, right? They need access to.
Uh oh, is he talking?
I might have got a phone call.
Oh, okay, probably. Let's give him a couple seconds, and if he doesn't come back, we'll go to seven four, and then LJ.
When the okay,
Kanye, you back?
when the speaker goes on real fast, it might be a call.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's what are they doing to this space?
They are obsessed with this space.
These spaces are
Whenever I
pretty
speak of all
janky.
people,
I'm seeing faces I ain't never seen before, and they like, this is
Hey,
You got
housing.
Biden name in the title. That's why.
got it.
There's a couple people who I'm denying because I can tell what they're coming up to do. So
Roger
yeah.
that. Kanye, you back? You were actually cooking, and then you disappeared. Dang, I think his thing screwed up. All right.
Wait, he left?
Yeah, I think it was messed up. Kanye,
I mean, I wanted to hear what he said.
exactly. It was like getting good. I want to hear that logic. Kanye, if you can hear me, come back. Oh, here he is. You there, Kanye?
Okay, I hear it.
Go ahead.
You're breaking up.
Oh,
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
nah.
somebody.
Kanye.
Some.
I can hear you, Kanye. Go ahead, Kanye.
Okay, yeah, nah. I was saying like the Russians are like they want access to the Black Sea. It makes sense, right? Without it,
Right.
their
They
grid.
already had it.
Listen,
Calm
listen,
down. I
Let him.
can't
Let
hear.
him
I
land.
can't
listen.
hear.
Come on, man. Take a deep breath, bro. I promise you.
I'll let you respond seven four, but
Yeah.
let him finish.
Yeah. They had it, then they lost it, and then they got it back. Okay, this is literally the nature of things, right? When they were the USSR, they had access to everything. They had the Baltic states. They had a whole lot of little buffer regions, as they used to call it. They lost it. Now they want it back. It makes sense. I mean, it's kind of foolish to not have access to the sea. Ukraine couldn't hold them off. They got it, and then with the co-opting of a lot of these Baltic states into NATO, which they agreed not to do, they said they weren't going to do it, and they started doing it. So it just makes sense to them to actually want it. I mean, we did the same thing. We have missiles in Turkey. Never mind. It's all good. But you got it, bro. You just want to yell.
Seven four. What was your response?
Even without the Crimean Peninsula, they already had access to the Black Sea. This is about the Russian territory is plain and flat, and so they want to expand their territory to access points that are easy to defend, and they will run over anybody to do it. That's what that's all about.
Right. Now, how is that
I
different from
thought
what I was talking about?
I thought
Yeah,
it was
but
about
once you
weed.
give up the land, you
It's
can't
not our
use it
land to
by force
defend.
to get it
It's not
back.
our shit. Look. At the end of the day, right? A country that can't protect itself is useless. They're not even a
They got
NATO.
nuclear weapons; they can protect themselves.
We're not talking about Russia. I'm talking about Ukraine. They're not even a NATO member. Who cares?
But the point is, when you've got a nuclear power running around doing whatever it wants, you got to take a stand. Because
They don't do
eventually the
whatever they
Russians, they're
want.
going to want back Alaska.
If they
So
did
yeah, you
whatever
got
they
to take a
wanted,
stand.
if they did whatever they wanted, right?
If
Then
they
they would
took
have.
back Alaska,
If
are
they
you cool
did
with that?
whatever they wanted, they would have been did that. This makes sense from a military
They're
standpoint.
taking incremental steps.
If they did what they wanted, they would have took Alaska a long time ago. But they won't try that with us because we have more nukes than them.
But they are taking
If they did
incremental
what they
steps,
wanted, they
and
would never let
eventually they're going to
Poland. They would never
move
let
into
any of those states
They're
join
going to
NATO.
move into
If they had did what they
Romania,
wanted,
which
they'd
is
have
a
still had that
nuclear.
pipeline going from Russia to Germany.
At the end of the day, you are right. Russia is a gas station with nuclear weapons, right? It is not smart to destabilize them because guess what? And a less stable leader, all of us saying they will drop a fucking excuse my language. Sorry, Auntie. They will drop a bomb, right? That is a stupid strategy to have. Like if some pig farmers, wheat farmers from Ukraine got to burn the hell, so be it. I mean, at the end of the day, the Crimea situation, when they took Crimea, it'd have been just fine the way it was. If they didn't build that dam to cut off that water to that region, and the Russians was like, you know what, we will build a pipeline for water from Russia to Crimea.
But if the
They said,
water begins in my country and
and
I
they said,
deny
you
it
know
to
what,
you, you got
that's
to
too
eat
cost
that.
effective. It would just save us a lot of money if we just took to the region. And that's exactly what they did. So this is a war Ukraine picked, for a lack of a better
It's a
term. They
war
only did
Russia
this
picked
shit
because
under
they
they did this
invaded.
under Obama and they did it under Biden. They did not pull this nonsense with Trump.
Yeah, that's true because they were afraid of Trump. I give you that. But once you start taking land, and then they're going to keep on going, you got to take a stand against them one way or the other.
The land they took wasn't just because it was pretty. It was a strategic take, which is exactly the
So
reason why
what? That's irrelevant.
it was completely relevant. You act like they went and said, you
Because
know
you
what?
could take any land at that point with that logic. You can take land from anybody.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Which one's more important? Access to the sea or not? Exactly. They
They
need
already
access
had
to the sea.
access to the sea.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. You know what a map looked like, right?
I don't think y'all are really
I
You know,
can read the map
disagreeing.
you know what
better
it looks
than
like
you
on a map.
can.
They have tension.
I'm sure you can.
I
So you
don't.
know what that map looks like, right? You know there's a river that runs to Crimea that they built a dam to stop the water from flowing, right?
Yes, because if you steal my land,
What's
yeah,
the
I'm
what's the
gonna
most
fuck you.
real quick, young fella? What's the most valuable resource on the planet? I
Yeah,
give you a hint.
water.
It's not oil.
Because you steal my
All
land,
right. So if you
yeah,
cut
I'm
off
gonna
the fucking
fuck you
water,
any
what you
way
think is
I
gonna
can.
happen?
So big fucking deal.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. You're right. 100%. They cut off the water. Now guess what? They started a whole war that they're about to lose. And if you ask me, the rest of the world should sit back and mind their business.
You think it's
Yeah,
gonna
I don't.
stop in Ukraine?
You said what now?
You think Russia's
What'd you
gonna
say?
stop in Ukraine? No, they're gonna keep they're gonna keep moving.
And go where? Where they gonna go? Italy? Where they gonna go?
Where they gonna go? If okay, once they take Ukraine, they may go into Romania. I mean, they're unpredictable. I don't know where they're gonna go, but one thing I can guarantee you is they're not gonna stop.
Yeah, I guarantee they'll
Let
stop.
me let me ask an ethnic question.
If that was the case, they would have stopped in Crimea.
Go ahead, Wani.
They did stop in Crimea.
No,
They
they
didn't even. They
didn't.
did.
They did not stop.
They did not.
Hey, gentlemen, Wani
Wow.
had an interjection. Go ahead, Wani.
I just wanted to ask, does anyone understand? They said that they're both East Slavic linguistic group, but I recall a very popular Ukrainian girl saying that we're polluting our bloodline by humping on Slavics. So, uh, anybody know what she was talking about? If they're all if they're all different types of Slavics. By the way, this girl claimed to not be eating food and be just absorbing the sun, so she felt that she was a plant or something. Don't even ask. She was sun gazing. Anybody know?
Yeah, that's outside my area of expertise. No clue.
They're
Wait, what was the
they're
question again,
ethnic
one?
they're ethnically like Chechen, right? And like most of Russia is like ethnically like Chechen or like Russian or whatnot. So like, but
Slavic, they say.
well, I
All
mean,
right,
they got the
Auntie.
Slavic blood, yes, but what going back to when Putin when they had Putin, and I think he was interviewed by 60 Minutes, everybody was annoyed by the history lesson. I honestly enjoyed it. What he's basically saying is that like we had an agreement with NATO. As long as you are not at our back door, we don't trust you. We don't want you there. We will let them,
What's
be
that
their own
treaty?
annex. But as soon as you get in our business, as soon as you start getting in their head, gassing them up, talking about some independent state, then we will go after you. Because and if you do that, then we have to keep our word. And if we don't keep our word, then we're gonna look like bitches. That's what I thought. That's what I took from that whole thing. I could be wrong, but that's the whole story of it. I mean, the Bolshevik War, all those millions of Christians that were killed as well. Like, there's a whole history to Russia that we don't learn in school.
This is
Dating all
true.
the way back
They
to the
they,
eighth
they didn't
century.
want to continue. They didn't want a war, but because we start, we're picking at the beehive. Um, that's what started all of
Poking the
this.
bear, poking the
Poking the bear. Yeah, I said the beehive.
That's literally
Sorry,
what they've been doing. They've literally
same
been planning
thing.
this for a
I
I don't
like
believe
beehive
that.
better.
they've been planning this for the better part of 20 years, bro. Listen, look at how quick they was able to cut Russia's water off. They even stopped selling Coca-Cola there for crying out loud. China the same. Look, there's a reason why they tried to form BRICS because everybody saw the writing on the wall. Now, if you ever been to the South China Sea before, anybody in the Navy can tell you there is a Chinese ship, at least two of them, that are about 4 or 5 miles out, and it tells every American vessel over there. And people will think, oh, they're going to attack us. No, they're just scared of what we might do. Because at any given moment, we can take them out because we surrounded China and Russia. We have military bases all around there. We have been prepping for this for a very, very long time. So I don't know. But hey, if you keep thinking that, oh, this was unprovoked, this was definitely calculated. They've been planning this for a minute. Think about it. Why was Hunter Biden over there in 2014? I mean, why was he over there when Obama was president? This shit was just an accident.
I mean, it
They
didn't
Maybe
didn't
Trump
Bi-
literally
put
didn't
half of
Biden
this shit
run
out.
on the fact that they would blow up the Nord Stream pipeline, and then
And
as
all
soon
of a
as they
sudden,
did it,
what
he
happened?
talked about some. I don't know. I
That
was
was the
eating
Ukrainians
biscuits.
who
I
blew it
was
up.
getting fed pudding. I don't
The
know.
Ukrainians blew it up. Now they was trying to say it was the Russians who blew it up at first. See, this is what I'm
Who
saying. Like,
said that? I never said that. If you
I
look at
didn't
the
say you,
EIS data, it was the
sir, sir,
Ukrainians who
sir.
blew it up.
Duh. Everybody knows it was Ukrainians. I'm just saying. At first, they were trying to say the Russians did it to escalate the war. That's what they were trying to say at first. Like, I'm just like the propaganda versus what's actually going on. The writing's all there. They've been planning this shit for a very long time. Take a look at the Hunter
If
Biden
you mean
situation.
the
It's a
Russians,
reason
yeah,
why
they
they try
have
to.
been.
The Ukrainian people, right, has always been the target for the Biden people. Literally, just take a look at what they're doing. They already set down ties. Look, the real money is going to be in 10 years or so. The next time a Democrat comes to power, they're going to say, hey, we need to rebuild Ukraine. We sent money over here. And then guess what? They're going to have American crews come over there, people who lobby for them, who are in those super PACs, and they're going to allocate a shit ton of money for the rebuilding of Ukraine. They're funding both sides of the shit. The Russians prepared for this. We prepared for this. We knew it was coming. This shit is not like, oh, you know what? Let's go fuck with them because she was an accident. Man, fucking hot fries whooped my ass. My bad, y'all.
Hot fries are not good for
But yeah,
you.
Kanye, you absolutely right. Everybody's about to eat off of this. That's why no one's even really sweating. That's why everyone is like a cakewalk anytime they're in the meeting and talking with one another. Like, it's really, we're
Mm-hmm.
not in this club, and I think that's the biggest thing. And if you and I'm like, it sounds like you're in the military. I come from a military family, so if you only get your information from mainstream media, you don't know what's really going on.
Facts.
Man, and the crazy part about this is, and people don't understand this, right? There's the islands in Japan, right? Before this shit kicked off, China and Russia did a joint military option. I mean, operation where they both sailed through those islands. Right now, if anybody knows anything about the Chinese and the Japanese and the Russians, the Japanese actually beat Russia in the war. They have not let that shit go. They don't really teach it in history, but they have not let it go. They've been pissed off about it ever since. Right. And during World War II, they actively avoided the goddamn Japanese. They like, yeah, we couldn't fuck with them. So they actually hate the Japanese. You know who else hate the Japanese? The Chinese. Yeah, when they took Manchuria. So they don't let this type of shit go. This shit kind of sit there, right? And then you take a look at how they're going about it. There's a reason why how Taiwan has kind of been like there and China hasn't made the move to take them. They want to. They want to. Taiwan is to China what Ukraine is to Russia, right? For different reasons, economic reasons, and then there's strategic reasons, right? It will make sense for China to try to take Taiwan in order to keep their economy strong.
hmm
Because if Taiwan becomes independent and make bargaining without China, it fucks them over.
The
I
Prince of
mean,
Japan and the first king of Britain were best friends, buddy buddy. Not Queen Elizabeth's father, her uncle who abdicated the throne because he didn't want to be king. They were best friends. He was.
Funny part about that is it was a Japanese who came up with the idea of setting up spheres of influence in China. So they
Yo,
hate everything.
I'm reading like resources from Ukraine. They say Ukraine got like a vast majority of a lot of natural
Uranium.
resources. They got, it said, the world's largest reserve of iron ore, the largest titanium reserve in Europe, one of the richest manganese deposits globally. They got coal. They got the largest uranium deposit, notable deposits of lithium, graphite, mercury, gold, and other metals. They stack. They got everything in Ukraine.
And look how many
So
nuclear reactors they got too, right? The very first thing
That's
yeah.
Russia
why
did was
Putin
take
wants it.
it makes
Well,
I
I
mean, I
mean,
would want it too.
that's why we won it also. I mean, like when you think of the Ukraine, don't just think of the Ukraine standing alone on their own, like as a single entity. No, like think of it as being a possession of the West, a possession of the United States of
another
America.
outpost that they hate. Literally,
Right.
like, look, bro. Look. If Russia was to try to take over Mexico, right? If we had an issue with Mexico, and Russia was to supply them with weapons, we would take that very, very personally.
Yeah, but what
Russia
would
can't be
compel
nowhere in the
Mexico
hemisphere.
to want Russia's help?
There's this thing called hypotheticals, right? And there's parallel examples. Maybe one of them might hit you.
I'm interested in the real world, not the dream world.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, like
This is
without
called
the
war
help of the
games.
United States,
thank you,
Ukraine
Five.
is basically done. And you know, like if you look at history, Ukraine was a part of the Soviet Union,
USSR. Yep.
yeah, with Russia. So from the beginning, like they've always been one. Like Putin knows everything about Ukraine. He knows everything that's there, and really it's kind of like the West and NATO just interfering off of like the potential that Russia could have in the world, like the potential influence they could have throughout the world. And so I mean that's why you see all of those nations over there kind of backing Russia because they all have
Some nations are back in
like
Russia,
similar
but not
interests.
all.
But the ones who are back in Russia, they do have similar interests. They're not really
Authoritarian
necessarily
interest.
well,
You think?
they're just not for globalization. You know, they kind of want to retain their own identities and they want to, still have the
Yes, they are for
greatness that their nations had.
globalization.
Yeah. Hey, can he finish
Globalization
his
is for
thought,
keeping
bro? Come on, man.
authoritarian regimes in power.
No,
China
it's cool.
only
He can
exists because of globalization.
Yeah. Can you?
Let's let everybody land their plane. Everybody, I love the separate the opposing opinions. I encourage that, but let's let everybody land. When you have an opinion and a counter opinion fighting each other, you that's how you find the truth. And I'm gonna say that's why the First Amendment is so fucking important in this country. That's the beauty of this country is the First Amendment. People should have the ability to lie. An American has the ability and the right to lie, and we need lies because it's only through people telling lies that you discover the truth, right? Because if it was just all the truth, we could be lost, right? But if you hear the truth and you hear a lie, you know that's the contrast. Like, okay, there goes the truth. So,
That's how you find misinformation. You want
right,
to mask it.
we
Just like
go
when.
ahead.
Hell nah, people should be put to death for lying, man. These
Right.
politicians been lying to us for decades,
Well,
But see,
for
that's how we know
decades.
they. That's how we know. To Professor's point, that's how we know, right? When they get on national TV and they tell us they got to send $1 trillion of our tax-paying money to Ukraine to help them fight the Russians, right? First off, these people run out of bullets before they run out of people. That's the first thing. And I don't know if y'all noticed or not, these niggas is getting slaughtered. I mean, it's not even close. I mean, like slaughtered,
Yeah,
slaughtered. And it's like, wait, we really gonna send them? And you know what they did? They literally, and this population control is a huge thing. Notice what they did in all the other countries. Look at the birth rates in Europe. They're down, right? Now the birth rates might be down in these countries, right? And Ukraine may not be at the top of the food chain, but their skin is just white enough. So they literally extracted all the women out of the Ukraine, right? and kept the men 65 and under. Now you ask, wait, what are these bras doing? Excuse me, these ladies was leaving the Ukraine, coming to America, coming over England, going over France, going to Spain, all this shit, hopping on Tinder, getting married, taking wives, husbands from wives and shit like that, right? And you think that's a mistake? I mean, we gotta look at this. They literally
I
redistributed those
mean,
people. Don't be surprised. They did the same thing with Bosnia in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all remember
yeah.
that when they snatched all those people and brought them over here?
So
Just
I
the
Yeah,
same.
was,
yeah, they
I was
squeezing
just
them.
That
saying,
was happening before the war, and with the war, it just
Can anybody else
accelerated.
besides him say something
nigga,
real quick?
that nigga again.
But
Hey,
Stephen
hey,
I
Flores
look.
know,
is
right?
So,
Yeah,
right.
that's me
Ukrainians
again,
been coming over
refuting
to Ohio
everything.
since the '60s. That is
The nigga
correct.
hey,
with no
He
picture,
is correct on
Asian.
that one. They've been coming over here since into Ohio since the '60s.
so
Yeah, but
I was
they,
just, I was just in Luke's space, right? And I don't know why I was over there, but I was trying to get them understand like racist policies and everything. And the one point I was trying to get at is how integration is one of the most racist policies to ever, to ever oppress black people in America. And since forever, like we've always just continually just been integrated, and then you even now with them bringing more and more people to America, that's even more integration, and all that's doing is continue just to oppress us even more. So I mean, like, how do you get people to see that? Uh,
You got to change the language on them because don't say racist because they fight you back with they're for everybody, but
yeah.
it's reverse xenophobia. They have a phobic of the American people, of the American Negro, of all they have, they're racist toward our ethnic group, us as an ethnic group. So you have to fight them on that
are
basis.
you typing right now?
Well, I think to Black Hayes' question, you bring up a really good point. Attorney Alton Maddox said integration was disintegration, and it was. Dr. Claude Anderson said, "You don't make coffee stronger by putting milk in it; you make it weaker." So, what I'm telling y'all, ladies and gentlemen, is this was a long, thought out plan. Um, the system of white supremacy thinks shit out years in advance, and I can, through Alton scholarship, I can prove it that this was thought out. So again, it goes back to cherry picking a class of traders, whatever you want to call them. Um, if you look back to Thurgood Marshall, um, to his time at Lincoln University when he was an undergrad. Lincoln University, which is a historically black college in Pennsylvania, it's a bougie. I've dealt with some of those guys there. It's bougie. It's kind of like Howard and Hampton, you know. Um, anyway, Thurgood Marshall, if you look through his records and go digging, you'll find out that Thurgood, when he was an undergrad, he was the president of the Student Government Association, and Lincoln University used to be full, had 100% faculty, white faculty, professors who went to Yale, professors who went to Columbia and Cornell, like Ivy League white faculty. And when Thurgood was an undergrad, like I think in the 40s or 50s, there was a movement at Lincoln, given the fact it was a historically black college, to bring black professors there. There was like, we bring in black professors. So a couple white professors lost their job and they were replaced with black professors. Well, Thurgood had a fucking fit and led a like a coup at Lincoln. And I'm paraphrasing Thurgood, but he said something like, we are entitled to the best education. And Thurgood equated white Ivy League people with having better instruction, educational instruction than black, college graduates. So one could say that Thurgood had some kind of had some interesting views on, white being right. That's fair to say. Well, let's fast forward to the civil rights movement. That's an important piece of history because when you know that, you know that the system fucking knew that. They know everything about you. So Thurgood wanted to go to University of Maryland School of Law, and they turned him down because he was black. He ended up going to Howard, practiced law for a little bit, became Supreme Court justice. The rest is history. But how did he get that Supreme Court justice appointment is the question. Thurgood was vetted as being pro. That little incident at Lincoln kind of showed his allegiance and reverence for whiteness, Ivy League whiteness. Well, when Thurgood became Supreme Court jurist, that case was on the books for integration, and Thurgood, I can't put it as eloquently as Alton Maddox put it, but Alton Maddox insinuated that Thurgood knew what he was doing with integration. He knew that integration was disintegration. And if you think of his history, it makes perfect sense because Thurgood at Lincoln University would not tolerate black professors teaching black students. He equates Thurgood's ideology, and I'm not demonizing Thurgood. I accept him as a whole person. I know his time frame of living was different, but Thurgood really equated whiteness with better. White equals better. So Thurgood, never changing that ideology, put us in white neighborhoods thinking they were better, and they fucking destroyed us. It was a worse decision. My Aunt June used to take me to the hood. She was the first black nurse practitioner in Alabama, in the whole fucking state. And she had a little bank back in the day. And June would pick me up on weekends out the projects in her bad fucking Benz, brand new candy paint Benz, and we would ride into one of them sugar spots in the hood to get it's called Nicky's West, was a restaurant spelled just like Nicky's name. It's still there, and we get a plate, some barbecue and shit, and then me and June would eat. She it was very important that I know why she shit down. She had a professional life, and she wanted me never to forget who I was. And June would say she would look down up Center Street in Birmingham, Alabama, where I'm from. Birmingham is one of the few states, I mean, from a few cities that actually had a black upper middle class. There's a reason for that. We'll talk about it in another space. But all the blacks had to live before integration. All the blacks had to live in Smithfield in neighborhoods. So when you look up Center Street, the street that cut Smithfield in half, there's elevation. It gets higher as it goes, up the hill. And the rich black people, the well-to-do, lived on the top of the hill. At the bottom, you had the school teachers. We were all the way down the street in the projects. Just people that worked for worked at factories and shit, and people that didn't have a job, junkies and prostitutes. That was my side of the street. Well, at the bottom of the hill, you had teachers and principals. The middle of the hill, you had business owners, lawyers, and nurses, and going up to the top, you had your doctors and your judges and shit. And at the very top, you had business people, including one Angela Davis's family. You know, the trader who sold feminism to black community in Birmingham. Um, we never knew what her parents did, but they were half white looking. All of them looked white, and Birmingham treated them like royalty. Well, June pointed up the hill at Angela Davis's house, um, and said integration fucked us up. I thought she was crazy for saying. I said, why? She said, when integration happened, the black people who had money ran away from us and left us to fend for ourselves. And it took me years to understand what she was saying. She was saying that before integration, you had black lawyers, black school teachers, black nurses and doctors and business people living down the street from the junkie. So the junkie, June said, when you walked out the projects and you looked up the hill at Angela Davis's house, or you looked at that Mercedes that Judge so driving, June said that shit is a choice. She said you had a
Right.
conscious choice of either I'm gonna bust my ass and become a judge, or I'm gonna be a hooker. And she said, being a hooker, that's cool. Just be the best hooker you're gonna be. But you had a choice. And when we ran away from our goddamn neighborhoods, we took the choice away from our kids. And in conclusion, let me tell you some shit that happened to me when I went to the rich white school. Our parents sent us to the rich white schools thinking we'd get a better education, but what we got was destroyed by white teachers who didn't want us there. Robbie Blue, talk to us.
Go ahead, Robbie Blue. Hi, Robbie.
Oh, good evening, guys. My phone had died earlier, and I was just in here just listening. Professor, you were cooking. I really am just getting a feel for the conversation right now, so I'm good. The only thing I would have probably said earlier, I was going to ask anybody, did Hunter Biden get convicted? You know how everybody's talking about pardons and all of this stuff. I'm just wondering, like, is Biden going to do that? Does that have something to do with Ukraine? Is this like some type of like distraction? You know what I'm saying? So he can go ahead and cut a deal for his son. Because I'm just saying, like, there was, I don't know, that's just real quiet. Do you understand what I'm saying? They keep bringing up
Not one
Trump, but
person
I'm just
asked that.
curious.
You are the only person who asked that, and that makes more sense than anything else. What you just asked. I haven't heard one person say.
That's a great
Yeah.
question.
I'm
Because I don't
sorry
think
for I'm
Trump will
sorry for cutting
pardon
you
his
off.
son.
I apologize for cutting you off. I just thought that that was an amazing question. Thank you.
No, no, no. I'm waiting for an answer from somebody.
I mean, has any? I mean, has anybody seen 1997 Wag the Dog? I mean, I know it came out the year I was born, but still, I seen it, and that looks like a documentary of today. If that's the case, has anyone seen Wag the Dog with Robert De
Yes.
Niro and Anne Hesh?
It came out when
Yes.
I was real young. I didn't see it. It was too sophisticated. I was a elementary school, not middle school student.
Please watch it, Professor. Please watch it. You're gonna be like, what
What
the?
reminds you of it in this scenario?
Well, in
Yeah.
the sense that the president, they created that fake war to cover up the president's indiscretions with
Mm-hmm.
the quote unquote underage intern.
Right.
And I mean, on that laptop had underage prostitutes that on several
Wow.
laptops of Hunter Biden. But that's not even what he was convicted and charged for. So just interesting, very interesting. I
Definitely.
mean, and Epstein's list still haven't coming out, and a lot of those
Did his
people on that black book were in the UK.
If we were in
What's
person, I would tell y'all some wild shit, but I'm not. I wouldn't dare say that. I'm not gonna
did
say
I
his
it
mean,
on
come on.
here.
I
nah?
went to
Come
Ohio
on now,
hold
you
State.
got
Like,
to
I
tell
got
us
a
that.
lot
Come
of
on.
stuff. I've been
hold
to
on.
the president's house. Like,
What's his
I
charges with?
literally, I wish people would understand how deep all this is, especially if you went to a university funded by anybody that is ooish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's interesting.
absolutely. But hold on, I just want to ask this question though, because is that Wag the Dog? Is that when they made that fake military front on Canada, or am I thinking of a different movie?
No, they created
I
a
think
fake
that's
country.
Canadian
It sounded like
bacon.
Uzbekistan, but like they created a fake country. They created a fake issue. Um, they hired crisis actors. I mean, I don't want to blow the movie for you all, but like the way that they did it and the way that they covered it up, it kind of sounds like true life day and age. They killed
Okay,
everybody that was a part of it,
So
and
because
Biden
I
was charged with charges, gun charge, and some other investigation. So he didn't even get anything.
okay, because this is what I want to say. What we probably gonna have to be prepared for, and it might be another case of what's going to happen, because you notice uh, heavy distraction, heavy amounts of distraction are going to be. So the war, is this going to, because I mean, it seems like nothing gets done in America for the freedom and justice of the American people. So heavy distraction taking us away from the fact that we got all these illegal immigrants here for the ethnocide, you know, uh, taking away the fact that these people need to go to prison, that that the Epstein list need to come out. All of these things, there's going to be heavy amounts of distraction. So it just reminds me of this, and I'll shut the hell up. I don't know which Rothschild, but one of the damn Rothschild. You remember the Illuminati story of when they went to war. They funded both the sides of the war, um, and and at that time the war had depleted the resources and stuff like that. So the stock market went down and it crashed. Well, they're funding the war. They got enough money. They bought the stock market. And so when everything goes back to normal, these oligarchs own their nation. So, and it seems that something similar on a globalist level is happening to us right now. But heavy distractions while they carry out their globalist agenda. I mean, that's what I could think of.
This shit's deep. The black, talk to us. The black wreck.
What's going on, everybody? Uh, I was gonna say,
Is he speaking?
uh, can you hear me?
Yes.
He can't
I
hear you.
I can't hear
Uh,
you. Drop
okay,
down.
okay.
I'll bring you right back up. Let's see. Let me bring him right back up. Du-du-du-du. All right, Black. I sent you an invite. All right. What's on your mind, Black?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What's going on, everybody? I was gonna say, like we said before, in a space, this this little area that they fighting over, it is like the where the ideology of white supremacy came from, and the split of Christianity, and what what Art and Kanye said earlier, like it's it's mostly a strategic war. Like at the end of the day, like we just need to mind our business, and that's what I feel like the reason Trump is in there, and they and all these establishment politicians are scared because they know the funding of money is about to be over. And if you know that the RFK, he talking about unleashing all the evidence from the JFK files to what happened to COVID, and you know all these people that was involved in it from back then to today. A lot of these people are still alive. Like Hillary Clinton, she was involved in getting Nixon out with Bob Woodward and things. So it's interesting how all these people throughout these different little ages we've been having in a weave together, and they all seem to be Democrats and pedophiles and weirdos. It's crazy, and all of them like hate any type of religion. And when you look at the little interview with Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin, even though it was long as fuck, he dropped a lot of information and a lot of facts on why he's standing his ground. And he specific, like he said that he made a deal that NATO wasn't going to expand, and then under Bush they said fuck it and made a reason to expand because we were spreading democracy around the world, and on the cool we just bullying trying to take over shit. So like it's it's really like crazy how it didn't for the white people in the audience, like we are not Captain Save the World. Like we don't want to be. Black people sure don't want to be, and like all this for for seven like look, I don't care about democracy. Democracy have never done shit for black folks. Like on the cool, that shit is demonology to me. Like you talk about democracy, I don't instantly think you hate God and you hate me too. And like I feel like this is just a tool to try to cover up all the corruption they done did over the couple of years. Cause Biden know that Trump about to expose their ass. So a lot of people might be committing suicide next year because they don't want their legacy to be tarnished. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people just gonna end up missing and end up in accidents because that's what Democrats do. Just look at the little Steph Rich laptop. Why the government was trying to get that classified for 60 years. So it's like a lot of things gonna be exposed, and I'm got my popcorn and I'm ready, man.
Not the popcorn. RS92. What's on your mind?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. A
Yeah,
couple questions for you. Begin, my friend. What's your
yeah.
lineage?
Oh, I'm East Indian. So my parents are from India. They're from a remote place in India.
Okay.
Uh, I spend time in the UK and I live in Canada.
So what?
Oh, so,
Thank you for answering that, sir. What caste are your families from? What caste are you? Brahmin or what?
no, we don't have that shit. That's a mainland Indian thing. We don't follow
Y'all
that.
don't follow it.
I
Okay.
went to a Catholic. No, I went to a Catholic school. I was raised pretty secular. We don't do that shit.
Okay. Cool. Cool. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, chime in that Biden is not the one who's doing this. Nobody knows. This is all the deep state people who are trying to like just control. These are the same people who tried to install Hillary Clinton in the office, and they couldn't do that because Hillary was supposed to lead World War III, and that didn't happen. So they're pissed about that. And these are the same people who are trying to now get US and everyone involved in this pathetic, useless war. Um, yeah, this is all the deep state shit. Biden is so senile. He doesn't even fucking know whether today is a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday. He doesn't fucking know that. He doesn't know whether he ate chicken or grits for like fucking lunch. Like you think that like he has the brain capacity to like actually like think and like act and say shit like long range missiles? No, he doesn't know shit.
That's a good point.
So it's the question is who is controlling, like who is in the White House right now? Because it
Wow.
clearly ain't Biden.
That's a shit, dude. I didn't even think about it that way. It slipped over my head. That's interesting. So you brought up, this is the first time I heard that theory you just brought up about Hillary Clinton leading World War III. Where did you get that from? Tell me more about that.
Well, you look into the whole the Clinton family, and then like the Clinton Bush family, and like where they, if you look into all of their investment funds, where it is going in, and like you look at like where the money is coming from, you always follow the money. The money will take you right to BlackRock, Vanguard. It'll take you to the a lot of the weapon manufacturing industries, and that's where a lot of these Clinton and the Bush family, both of them. Bush was a fucking motherfucking asshole. Where's the fucking weapon of mass destruction? I'm still looking for that in my freaking kitchen. I ain't seeing no weapon of mass destruction. These people, they were not here to like actually do anything for the American people. They're not here for blacks, whites, browns, Latinos. They're here to just make money. That's it. And then they have occupied the Republican Party and they've occupied the Democrat Party as well. I still believe that Donald Trump is way better than like the mainstream Republicans like Mitch McConnell and all of those assholes. But yeah, it's pretty interesting that nobody is thinking that Biden does not have the brain capacity to do any of this shit. He's so fucking senile, and anyone can make that out if you just look at his interviews. Look at, come on, like if someone's gonna tell me that Biden's making decisions in White House, that's just funny.
He
That's
does
just funny.
look off. He does look mentally out of it, but I didn't think that was going to stop him from doing dumb shit while he was in office. I mean, he's still in office.
The
Yeah, I
fact that
mean,
they
like
And
I
at the
don't.
end of the day, it doesn't matter which one of the dummies is doing it. We just need to get them
but
out.
ask him how does he feel about deportation.
Who is him? I don't follow.
Uh,
Yeah, that's
that ain't even really exactly important. But the thing is, like, the majority of us who actually understand politics and what's going on, like we already know, like the government I don't even know what to call a deep state, but they're gonna do what they want to do regardless of whatever. You know what I mean? There's nothing that the people can do. It's nothing, probably nothing that Trump can do. He's probably gonna follow suit whenever he gets in office. And I mean, like shit, all of this is just like a steady plan that's just gonna keep unfolding. Like it's really just if they were to bring in a president and he would interrupt or disrupt any type of actions and stuff that they already said has set in place, they wouldn't even allow him to be elected.
Good point. Come on, Savannah. What's on your mind?
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time first lady had to step in for her husband because he was in mental decline. They say Nancy, um, she wasn't hawk talk girl wasn't the first one to do the hawk. She had to can do a lot of convincing and persuasions and counsel and excuse me, lobbying for her husband during his mental decline. I heard that she had to take the front seat driver will at the during his last days, for real, and that's why they basically kept him out of the spotlight, versus putting him in like they do on Jimmy Carter. That's sad. That's elder abuse. But anyways, I also I wouldn't. I mean, that's a theory. That's one theory, right? And that's why we have free speech, right? We could talk about theories. Um, when we think about corruption and how far people have gone, we got to think about the cartels, right? And how they used Nancy and all of them and Reagan to fund the Contra wars, this, that, and the third. This, everyone knows about that. But when they needed that funnel, when they needed that gateway, they needed Arkansas. Who was the governor at the time, right? And who was a cokehead? Who was a party boy? Who was the rowdy boy? Who was sleeping with his mama, or not? Excuse me, sleeping around, and was using his mama as the cover and this, that, and the third. Um, Bill Clinton, her husband, changed his name so that he could fit into that narrative. So I wouldn't think it's not far fetched that she could also be a part of that. And the servers, like the private servers, anybody else would have gone to jail, Gitmo, locked up, thrown away. Like, come on now. So like they get away with so many different things that no one else gets away with. He literally allowed the cartel to use Arkansas as a gateway through, as a gateway to the American. Everyone thinks it's Texas, but it's Arkansas.
Interesting. RS 92, holla at us.
Yeah, I think like someone said about like deportation and how I feel about it. I feel that anyone who is illegally entering the US, Canada, or any other country, they should be deported immediately. You can dump them in the Atlantic for all I care about.
Right on. The Black, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I was gonna add to what Savannah said. Like, it's I feel like the deep state is really Hillary and her little crew. Cause if you look at all the things that's been going on since Trump went down the Escalade, it like she did a lot of corrupt things, and excuse me, she she broke a lot of laws, like and the reason for her and Obama, she went to Russia to reset the relationship. That's why if you look at Frontline, they got a documentary about Trump and Hillary when they were running against each other. But it's interesting that they drop a lot of, what I'm saying, gems that people don't realize. Like, all this was already playing. Like, they on PBS, they literally admit that, what I'm saying, that when Trump got it, that Hillary worked with Obama to spy on Trump, and then they lied and said it was Russia. That's why Trump kept on saying it was the Russia hoax. And then when you look at 2020 and Joe Biden, and they said they Facebook hid the information about the laptops, and all they connected to Ukraine, and they had a lab that was supposed to be studying COVID, and they was funneling money to China to study COVID, and all of a sudden COVID happened. And when Trump started talking about China virus, and all of a sudden it's racist, and we got to have a law to study this, and study why people are beating up Chinese people, but they really wasn't. But anyway, it's crazy because, like she said, Savannah said, Nancy was out here doing a lot of favors to keep Reagan in office. And like, I'm watching Lawrence O'Donnell right now, and he started his career down here in Dallas with ABC down here, and all these media companies that's so called on the left or liberal medias, like they losing their mind right now. Like all these Harry Potter looking dudes on TV with their glasses, they getting steamy, and I understand why, because they did a lot of lying. Like they broke a lot of laws, and they keep on talking about all these people that Trump putting in office. Like all these people that he putting in office is all the people that they was lying on. So I feel like he really gonna disrupt some things. So they hoping that none of these people get confirmed, and Trump gonna legally use every law, every loophole he can use, like he did before, to get accomplished what he can. But this time he got more people that's willing to what they call bow down and kiss the ring, because like they have no choice if they want to keep their career.
Yeah, that's true. Seven Ward, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I just wanted to, follow. Well, one thing I want to say is the person who's probably pulling the strings right now in the Biden administration is probably Jake Sullivan. But I wanted to touch up on something you said about Thurgood Marshall and
Hey,
HBCUs and
hold
this.
that thought. I just saw some. I don't hate to interrupt you, but I see
Yeah, go ahead, man.
somebody's trying to come up. They got a name talking about recording Daniel Upshaw. Daniel, you do not have permission to record this space, and you're being blocked and removed. Yeah. Oh, what were you saying, bro?
Yeah, about the you were talking about Thurgood Marshall and the education at HBCUs,
Oh God, don't
and
start that again.
don't worry, ma'am. Don't
Not
don't
you, but
don't
it's gonna
worry.
turn into a school conversation.
No, just hear me out, ma'am. About the educational standards at HBCUs. And, they try to stereotype us and say, like, we're given a substandard education. I don't I don't adhere to that. If you are in my class, you get the same educational standards that you would get at MIT, Caltech, Stanford, Harvard. I'm because I believe you need to compete with those people and
It
be able to beat them.
it has
With
shit
that,
to
I yield the mic.
it has
Oh,
shit
wait. Question.
it has shit to do with it. Who's that talking? I can't tell.
That's Black Haze.
Oh, okay. I don't see you. Where are you? Oh, okay, okay.
Uh, yeah, so my man they just got down. Are you a professor at a HBCU?
Partially, I also postdoc.
Okay, so I graduated from an HBCU, right? Um, my issue with the HBCUs, because I've had some very great, wonderful teachers, professors, and but my biggest issues though is that in most of my tech classes, programming or mathematics classes, the teachers were all Indian
Yeah, that's
or
true.
African
Yeah, that's true.
with very like with dialects that I couldn't understand. Nobody could understand them. We had to teach ourselves in school.
Yeah, because these universities
Um,
have been taken over by Boule motherfuckers, and they let anybody in.
That's the issue. That's I've been
yeah.
saying that since I got on X. Yeah, I lost a career. I lost a career at his. Hold on. I lost a career at a you got a lot of noise going on, Black. But I lost a career at a historically black college because I spoke out against that shit. And no matter what historically black college you go to across the country, it's the same story. I think it's systematic. They put foreigners, it's either one or two things happening. Either one, we just not majoring.
I'm trying to fight it.
We not majoring in the hard sciences, chemistry, biochem, computer science, calculus. Either that's going on, or other groups are being promoted in those and allowed to flourish in those genres.
They are. And I don't know why
That's what
they
I
would
saw.
be, because they don't have a history of doing anything groundbreaking in it, like being having 17 astronauts, calculating the
Right.
I
moon
can explain
landing.
that.
Why would they put these people in What is their claim to fame? They haven't invented anything, they haven't done anything, they haven't done the things that we've done in these fields. So for them to, it has to be some racist attack, because it can't
It
be,
I can
is.
it
explain
can't
that.
be intelligence, because we've already proven we're highly intelligent in that field, in all the fields,
Well,
medicine and the rest of it.
I have extensive knowledge on that from the ground, from the page to the stage, because I went. My dad put me in a PWI. I mean, a real predominantly white high school, and I was always a geek, always. And I remember being interested in physics back in 2000, in the late 90s. In 2000, I wanted physics. That's what I wanted. And I remember asking to be signed up for physics, and they were like, "No, that's not for you." They put me in fucking musical theater or something. And I was a kid. I couldn't fight for myself. But I saw it later when I became a professor and an instructor and an educator. I was like, oh, it's a fucking caste system, is what it is. And when I professed at a historically black college, in Memphis, Tennessee, how much black do you get than that? The professors, a lot of the professors in the hard sciences were from the diaspora. They were African, Congolese and shit. And they don't promote foundational black Americans. This shit just makes my blood boil because they're keeping us away from careers in medicine. Um, but yeah, but we're we don't let's not take this deviation because it could trigger the fuck. I'm gonna get triggered in a minute thinking about this.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I was saying like we could be on this
Yeah,
conversation.
and I don't want to
This
hear
this
it
shit.
because it's
Talk
not
about
nah, yeah,
this all
healthy.
day.
we're gonna end it because
I can tell you what's going
no, no,
on
no,
if
we're
y'all
we're
want to
gonna I'm
know.
gonna
Holy
stop because
shit.
I'm gonna get triggered. So no,
Everybody has a beef with their college. I get it.
yeah,
Can we
yeah, I'm letting.
I have a beef with my college room and talk about it?
I don't even want to be in that room. I can't because it's so unfair. But yeah, getting back on track, Robbie, what's on your mind?
I was about to talk about the taboo topic, so I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, we're gonna end that because that's one topic that will trigger the fuck out of me. And nah, not today. It's too late.
Well, back to your original topic about the nuclear. Um, I think it all depends on like say things like tariffs, and if countries aren't agreeing on things, through a back channel, because resources are very important to keeping the grid up. So in Ukraine, I want to say they have a lot of uranium, but most of the grids are still dependent on what's it called, natural gas and coal. So Russia's number two with natural gas. I think China comes in with the coal, so that's why they have that relationship with each other to help each other's infrastructure. So I think, if anything, I think what the United States long-term plan was, but it's not working, because Putin said Hillary Clinton tried to interfere with their elections. So when they accuse Russia for interfering with our elections, it's projection because she actually interfered with theirs. And the second thing is, I think they just want to keep Russia tied up with Ukraine because they're hoping that it'll drain their resources, kind of like how they made the Soviet Union dissolve in the past. Like there's like we're just gonna make you overspend, but they don't. It's in other words, it's like they took Vladimir Putin to a strip club and they're trying to see if he has a black card or just a regular visa. You know what I'm saying?
No cap. Our story. I see you down there. What's on your mind?
Hey, I was gonna ear hustle tonight, but oh my goodness, you always come with the good old fashioned Cajun stew. But this space shows that we are of one mind right now, because I always want to make sure our community is aware of what's happening, because we are just more concerned with the day to day, our families, and just doing what we have to do. So this was an important space to have, and thank you so much for having and making people aware. And I always know we have insightful commentary in your spaces, so I just want to show my appreciation for that. And I also want to say, as far as the war between Ukraine and Russia, I don't know if everybody kept abreast of what had been happening over there. but I had been paying attention to it for like a decade. I mean, it had been a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with Ukraine and Russia, and mostly over a contested area that consists primarily of Russians, but Ukraine was terrorizing these people. And the U.S. just used it as a mechanism to spark a war. Now, they had already agreed Ukraine would not become a part of NATO, but they convinced Ukraine, hey, if you don't sign a peace treaty with Russia, we'll back you. So hence they sparked this territorial war with Russia, thinking that we were gonna, be by that side, or maybe even put troops. We were never gonna put troops over there. The U.S. doesn't care about the Ukrainians at all. I've heard colonels speak about Ukraine. They say it's one of the most corrupted Eastern European nations. They would never have added them to NATO, but they've used them to drain. Just as the gentleman said before, they've been using them to drain Russia. That's what they were hoping. They were hoping that the back and forth between Russia and Ukraine would weaken Putin in the eyes of his people, and then they, as usual, they could come in and say, "Oh, we believe in democracy," and influence their elections and get somebody a puppet in place where they could then come in and basically take the resources of Russia. Now, I had always been concerned, could this spark into, World War III? But I think we also need to pay attention to Iran, because Iran has always been on their radar. And with the Palestinian conflict, Israel is making the attempt to draw us into a conflict with Iran directly. Now, I know my mom always told me, she's a Bible reader. She said, "Look, whenever they say Iran and that's where they head," she said, "that's when it's going to happen." So I've always kept that in the back of my mind. Iran is, I don't know what their deal with Iran is, but Israel has always had a hard on for this country. And Iran has never done anything to us. So I just want people to be aware. It's like a backup plan for whoever the deep state is. If it doesn't pop off with Ukraine, we need to be mindful that they have a backup already geared up and ready for to spark World War III. And with that, I'll end my
Yeah,
plane.
there's a
Thank you.
book. Can y'all hear me? I'm looking on the internet. I don't know if can y'all hear me? Is my thing depressed? My mute.
We can hear
Okay,
you.
good.
We can hear you.
Thank you. Because I can't see the screen right now. But there's a that this is a
Oh, wait. Dang it. He cut him out. If y'all can text him.
But they said we got to put a stop to that.
Yeah,
We can't hear you, Professor.
let's just follow the next person speaking. I'm getting ready to text him. Who is next to speak?
can
I
y'all
have
hear me
no
now?
idea.
Yes.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, yes.
You can hear me now.
I can hear you now.
What
You can hear
happened?
me?
Like the commercial.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What happened?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was looking for to put some scholarship in the jumbotron, so I guess Twitter acted up on me. But yeah, Albert Pike was a very interesting character of high-ranking occultist and members of a very powerful organization. Let's leave it there. Well, Albert wrote a manual on how to take over world domination. Novo Order Seclorum on your dollar, the new world order of the ages, or new world order, however you want to look at it. Um, uh, also says annuit coeptus on your dollar. That means our job was well done. That's him. That's his group. I'm not going to identify him, but you can guess who I'm talking about. But Albert said to achieve world domination, it must be done in 3 stages. Now he wrote this in 18. Somebody fact check me, like 18. It was before the Civil War. or maybe during this. It was in the 1800s. He said, first thing you're gonna have to do we are gonna have to do, Annuit Coeptus, is overthrow the Russian oligarchy because the Russians um, are too powerful, too opinionated, too concerned with justice, and too close to an almighty God. If you think about the old Russian oligarchy, the old Russian oligarchy were Orthodox Christians, and they stood for what was just. They stood for light and justice, right? He said this in the second stage, after we eliminate the Russian oligarchy, we must replace them with Marxism. That's what he said. Well, second stage, he said, once the Russians are out the way, we need to focus on Germany and eliminate the German factions and elevate the. I'm thinking of a codified way to identify these people. The people who run Israel, right? And he even in Morals and Dogma said we need to create a physical state for Israel. That's the second state.
You talking about the Bolshevik Revolution?
No, that was a first. That was first. The Bolshevik. That's
All
step
right.
one. Step one was Bolshevik.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're right, but that's step one. Step two was the Nazi Germany, getting rid of them and elevating a smaller group of people and giving that group of people a homeland. Albert Pike said this shit in eight. Don't trust a damn thing I say. Look up Morals and Dogma and look at the synopsis. Albert Pike said the third stage after you eliminate the Germans and you raise that small group and give them their own homeland. You know what I'm talking about? He said the third stage to achieve world domination is you need to pit the Muslims against the Jew in a massive war. And while they eliminate each other, you need to raise nihilism across the West. And you need to elevate nihilism so high that the Christians in the West will abandon Christianity and turn to nihilism. And at the moment of absolute corruption, you're going to introduce them to the true master. I bet you know who I'm talking about, don't you? So, okay, that sounds like a bunch of bullshit. Somebody look up when was Morals and Dogma Roden? When was that?
1871.
1871. That was almost a fucking hold on. What is this? Damn near 100 years before World War I, when step one of his plan happened. It was 100 years before World War II when step two of his plan happened, and step three of his plan is happening right now. So you want to talk about New World Order? Read Morals and Dogma.
It was supposed to happen back in 2014.
I think
That's when the world was supposed to end.
shit, it's deep. What you got? What you know? RS-92. I know you know something.
Ukraine has always been used for money laundering, and this is something which is across the globe. Uh, I can talk about Canada because I know about Canada. Our finance minister, Chrystia Freeland, she has houses, she has properties in Ukraine. She's literally a descendant of a fucking Nazi from Ukraine. There are many Canadian politicians who have houses, properties in Ukraine. Ukraine is the largest supplier of grains in Europe. Sorry, is the largest producer of grains in Europe. Uh, the grains they produce, ironically, is always sent to Africa. Like all the grains produced by Ukraine get sent to Africa. Who is being affected by this whole war? It's all the African countries. They are the ones which are facing, uh, a rise in like they're the ones who are like seeing a rise in poverty, rise in hunger right now, and who is responsible for all of this is the whole global system. These deep state people, they control more than just like defense and wars and shit. They control our food chain, they control our medicine, they control every fucking thing out there. And these things have been plotted and they've been set for so long that if you start just you're just you're what we see right now, this is just uncovering the surface. This goes deep, this goes really deep, but you really need to look into what Ukraine is. Ukraine was a country during the Second World War. They supported the Nazis. That is a known fact. They harbored the Nazis during the Second World War. It's nothing new. Everybody knows that. Majority of the Ukrainians have descendants from or they claim descendants from people who were basically supporting the German Nazis, and I'm just gonna land it there.
Yeah, looking at history, we were all propagandized to think Russia was some type of enemy, but unfortunately, this is not going to be popular with what I say, but I think I could back it up with scholarship. Russia has kind of like been the good guy in as far as history. We wouldn't have beat Nazi Germany without Russia. Um,
Bullshit. They wouldn't have beat Nazi Germany without us.
well, well, to my what's that called? A conundrum or something? A catch 22. This one, it's how you look at it, but just looking at Russian history, I'm not gonna. I don't think I can equate. Although I was taught to look at Russia as some monolith, some evil monolith. History.
They are.
How so?
I mean, that's the place where communism was, was matured. So, yeah, don't trust these people.
Well. I'm gonna disagree with you. Communism was created by a Luciferian named Karl Marx, and if you look into his shit, you'll find out he was
Which found its way to Russia.
yeah. So again, thank you for saying that because that proves my point. It didn't find its way to Russia. Albert Pike, in step one of his plan, said to send that shit to Russia. You think Albert Pike and Karl Marx weren't talking? They were in the same fucking order.
Then why didn't it find its way to America?
Um,
And like, why don't we live under an American communist system?
because
There's a
The Red
reason why
Scare.
it birthed itself in Russia.
well. I mean, that's argumentative, and if I may put on my tinfoil kufi, if you look back at Morals and Dogma, the plan was very meticulous. Um, Albert Pike, head occultist, said it has to be done in sequence. It has to communism has to be born in Russia. You know what I'm saying? It has to be incubated, not born. I'm sorry, it's born in
Then
Germany.
why it couldn't have been incubated here?
It was incubated here. Look at
No,
our Divine Nine who
that
wants to
that,
be
Yeah,
a
that
but
part.
there is no American Stalin. There is no American Lenin
I know
or
that's
anybody
a
or
good
any of
Go
that's a
these
good
go to
question.
people.
go to
Oh,
go to any Ivy League universities. You will find them all right there. They're right under
I
your
went I
nose.
Yeah,
went
but
to
there who? Yeah, but who is the American Stalin?
no no
Who is the
hold on
who
American
was the
Lenin?
president during World War I? Who
hold
took
on
who went to
no.
war
FDR.
so that we could continue so that he continue his who could continue his power? He was
Who is the equivalent of the American Stalin?
Hold up. We're running off the and he asked a good question. He said, "Damn, see that's why I didn't want to happen. I forgot what he said." He said why didn't I'm paraphrasing. Why didn't communism get incubated in America? Well, look at Morals and Dogma. That wasn't part of the plan. In order to, according to Albert Pike, in order to issue the New World Government, the New World Order of the Ages, you had to get rid of that Russian oligarchy and replace it with communism because they were had a real strong faction of Christianity. If it came, I don't know if it would have been equatable to the United States because you have to think about it. The United States was not a world was not a top world power before World War II. Out of the
Yes, it was.
no, we were not we
Yes,
weren't.
No,
it
it
was.
wasn't.
By the 20th century, America was nobody to fuck with.
I mean, no, I'm not saying we were pushovers, but I'm saying we weren't running shit. Matter of fact, Nazi Germany was running shit more than we were. We played it real smart and stayed out that goddamn war and let them beat each other up before we joined it. There was a reason for that. But back to the point at hand, Albert Pike said it had to be a strategic, sequential, systematic attack, just like a game of chess, to issue the Novo Order Seclorum. So Russia was a puppet. I'm not I'm the whole point before we lose context is I'm not caping for Russia. I don't give a fuck. I'm just looking at history. If you're equating the evil of Russia with communism, you're not equating that evil with Russia. You're equating evil with not with fucking Germany, and not even Germany. Me and Wani talk about this all the time with respect to who in the fuck are
The Russians were
who
more
are these
evil than
fucking
the
people?
Germans.
Because Karl Marx was a Luciferian, and he tells you all over. You, I'm sure somebody in here is going to interrupt me before I'm finished and say, no. Karl Marx was an atheist. Well, why is an atheist?
Oh.
Why in the hell?
Karl Marx was a Jew.
Yeah, he was. He was of that lineage.
He's
Yes,
also
that
an
is true.
anti-Semite.
Wait. You mean the ooh? He was a ooh? Come on, y'all.
He,
Y'all
he,
want to nuke the space?
yeah, yeah, he was of that lineage, and I was trying not to say it, but yeah, be careful with how you say things. But that's important that it was said.
Just say
Jeweler.
jeweler.
That's funny. But Karl Marx was his father was what the gentleman just said, and his father converted to Christianity. You have to ask yourself, why did he do that? Was he trying to hide something? You know what I'm saying? But after his father converted with Christianity, Karl Marx went mainstream with his theory, where he claimed to be an atheist. But here goes the part. If you go digging, you'll find out Karl Marx was obsessed with Faust, Mephistopheles. I'll say it wrong, somebody correct me. But Karl Marx's whole idea of Marxism is based on Luciferian doctrine, which is all living things deserve to die. Karl Marx was a Luciferian, and if you think it's a mistake that Albert Pike adopted his ideology and spread it to Russia, to China, to be spread across the world, you are fucking crazy. This Marxist ideology is why the Democratic Party lost, because they were using Marxist ideology, bragging on abortion. That's ridiculous. That goes back to Mephistopheles. All living things to have the right to what? Die. Marxism is based in death. It's a death style. It's an attack on humanity. Go ahead, Robbie.
I was going to say, and let's not act like, just like we had Project Paperclip here, bringing over some of those Nazi scientists, don't think that the Russians didn't pick up those Nazis too. So, as of today stands, you probably got influence within their government and their society through those, because you got to realize all these guys were occultists and into secret
Yes.
societies. So what they do is they understand the power of suggestion and propaganda. They can make you come to the
And
conclusion,
think that you did
but
it yourself.
they've
Yes.
bingo. So basically, if they're following a guideline or following a motor apparatus, they're very patient. And think about it, I always said it. If people think that what you're saying is far fetched, that would be like saying, well, then white supremacy shouldn't exist because they managed to pass that down generation to generation successfully. And so that's why I say, man, they have a commitment to wickedness at this point because slavery was so long ago, but they still, you know what I mean, hold on to it. They still hold on. Look, white women still feel like they're the mistress when it comes to dealing with black women. That's what they showed you with the election, with the sleight of hand, with them saying, "Oh yeah, we're down with feminism, blah blah blah, black girl magic." But white woman sorcery is nah. I'm still the boss. That's you know what I'm saying. So let's not act like secret societies don't exist. That's why I feel like, they would lead us to a war, and like they said, it could be a strategic nuclear strike. Like they said, if there's a nuclear war, it'll be measured because they don't want to mess up. They'll do like they did. They'll find some brown or yellow people to drop a bomb on. They'll be like just to make a statement. You know what I mean? Like because they didn't drop the bomb on Berlin, right? They dropped it on the Japanese. They made them tuck tail, put a skirt on, and start making Nintendos. They didn't pick up a samurai sword. They didn't pick up a grenade. They start making Godzilla movies. That's how bad they were terrified from a nuclear bomb. So I feel like right now with strategic nukes, you know what I'm saying, to put the fear of God in somebody, they could do it. But it's kind of I see Russia and America though, like two homies that you've seen hang out together, but they act like they want to fight each other,
Right.
and they let a 90-pound person be in between them. They got their shirt off. Talking about it's on when I see you. To this point, after they raise my gas prices, I'm like, squeeze it, nigga, squeeze it. I'm just like, go ahead and do it. I'm like, go ahead, do it, Putin, do it, Putin, do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ain't gonna do it, nigga, then I feel like there's some shenanigans going on, like somebody making some money through the back door off weapons and oil and uranium and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And sadly, shit, guess what? There's gonna be some North Koreans that's gonna get blown to what's that stuff called?
Smithereens.
Um, no, chop suey.
Man, this shit deep as fuck. I got a new book on secret societies. That the book found me. It's just very strange shit, but it's all connected. There's the Germans. You think that they became how did that Germany go from riding horses in 1900 to having fucking jet planes in 1939? You think that's human intelligence, or is that some shit they stumble upon? Check this out. According to my new shiny book, the Vril Society, a small group of active in Berlin during the 1930s. Um, Members meditated on a bisected apple in order to gain control of the mysterious power of Vril. The post-war books on Nazi occult connection built this brief reference into a claim that organization renamed Real Society was closely affiliated with the Thule Society, Thule, however you pronounce it, and the Nazi hierarchy itself. These folks was into witchcraft and occultism. Now, when I mentioned Vril, my guys, hear this well. We were at 140 people. I mentioned secret societies in real, and now we're at 231. Do I need to just shut my mouth? I got attention real quick. And let me change the subject. Hey, Savannah, what's on your mind?
Yeah. Wow, changing subject. Okay, yeah. So I was name dropping Wilson, right? I mean, in terms of someone using the war in order to use and take over his own power, and that was 1913. World War One, 1914. But again, somebody mentioned we were very like, oh yeah, we'll listen to George Washington, we'll be Switzerland. Once we realized that this war was to basically control who was going to become the quote unquote power hold, like who was going to become the power. And going back to the whole like who was in charge of or who won the war, I think Russia had the manpower, we had the money to back them. Kind of like how with the BP oil, like they had the money, but the they quote unquote Venezuela didn't have the infrastructure to get the oil. Like you get what I'm saying? So it's like we they Russia wouldn't have not won if we didn't back them monetarily. Um, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's all connected. I'm gonna go back just out of a quick experiment and keep talking about real to see what my numbers do, because that was very weird. But this my source says the real society was closely, and let me tell you how this is connected because I sound like I'm coming left field. I'm not. We were talking about world domination, the Novo Order Seclorum. That means New World Order, New Order of the Ages, New World Order, same thing. Albert Pike and how this is connected to Jewel. What was the word, Robbie?
Jeweler.
Yeah, that and um and communism. Guys, this shit is connected like a motherfucker. Um, Karl Marx was of that lineage that Savannah just mentioned.
Oh, I know what I wanted to say. I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
We were talking about the whitening of Dominican Republic, and one of the things that I mentioned was how yes, Rafael Trio was really interested in bringing in the Jewish people, but he wanted Ashkenazi Jewish specifically. He didn't want the Yemeni Jew. He didn't want nobody else. He wanted the Ashkenazi blood specifically. So just wanted
Who'd
to
you
throw
say
that.
that was?
Rafael Chirijo, the dictator in Dominican Republic during the World War, and he was basically going through and basically massacring anybody of like quote unquote African blood, and was in his mission to whiten the race. He was so thirsty and wanted to bring over at least like 200,000, but I think only like 50,000 made their way to the Dominican Republic.
We're living in a gigantic chess
Oh,
game. By like Robbie and our other colleagues were saying, people we don't understand, very powerful people. Like I was saying, that society of real and the Nazi hierarchy itself, according to this text, and played an important role in the Third Reich's plan for world domination. That's what this is all about. I was flipping through the book and I saw in another related occult was Sons of Liberty. The Sons of Liberty were the same people. These are the same groups. These they just
Professor, could
go
I ask you a
ahead.
question real quick? Did you know, and I just thought about it right now, I may have said it before, but it still dawns on me how they play out everything like it's
Mm-hmm.
WWE. I could have sworn I seen a picture of Barack Obama when he was a little boy on golf course with his father, with George Bush Sr., and it was George Bush Jr. there. I swear to God. And think about it, you had George Bush precede Barack Obama. So him going to Harvard, it's like, why would he act like he doesn't know George Bush or
Yeah,
the Bush
and it's
family?
all yeah, it's
You feel me?
sequential. Like, and I could take that shit a step further because I went to Harvard University, didn't finish, but I went there, got the paperwork to prove it. And let me be careful how I say this shit. Um, there are very old groups at Harvard, so old that they don't have Greek letters. They're represented by animals. Don't ask me how I know. I may or may not have been to one of those pre-induction ceremonies. I'm not gonna confirm or deny. I'm not a member, but I've been there. And during my brief stay at Harvard, I noticed that again, those societies are related to the societies we're talking about right now that seek world domination. So Robbie, I'm not surprised because George W. went to Harvard School of Business. I used to park at the business school. It's fucking gorgeous. It's right next to the Charles River. But yeah, they are all tied in together. It's all a plan. This country is a country because some of them who were named the Sons of Liberty dressed up like Native Americans and jumped on a ship and start throwing tea into the harbor, right? That sparked something. These are chess players. They're master chess players. And back to I'm long-winded, but back to what I was telling Seventh Ward is it was a big chess play by like letting loose a virus, letting loose Marxism in Russia because of the dynamics of Russia. If you destroyed the power elite who were very religious, or very, I don't know if I want to say spiritual, they were Christian, um, early form of Christianity that was really close to the original form of the Memphite theology. I think our sister Wani said in Russia, they still, and correct me if I'm wrong, Wani, they pray to the Black Madonna, also known as Aset, but they needed to go. And once they were gone, Marxism ideology was installed there and allowed like a virus to be incubated and thereby passing to China. This is a fucking master plan. Um, Immortal, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I was listening to you break down the sequence, and you're right. Pike wrote the blueprint in that book, and you are explaining it quite well. But somebody just said they saw a picture of Obama and some other, and George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., and so on. George Bush Sr. was naval intelligence first. He was a Navy pilot. Then he became naval intelligence. Then he moved on to the CIA, eventually becoming the head of the CIA. Barack Obama's grandfather and grandmother on the white side, his grandfather and grandmother were CIA operatives. The grandmother dealt with finances. The grandfather, he did a lot of work overseas. He was a field operative. And one of the people that the grandfather recruited is Barack Obama's quote unquote legal father, which was, the African name Obama, uh, where Barack Obama got his name from. Okay. So Barack Obama, been knowing George Bush Jr., Jeb Bush, all of them. They all grew up together. Bill Clinton, been knowing George Bush. Bill Clinton said George Bush was his godfather. He'd been calling um, the Bush boys, Jeb and the other, been calling them brother. They've been known Barack Obama. And just like Albert Pike's book gives you the an inside glimpse into the mind state of the people who are manipulating events around the globe, You can also read certain books. This ain't for the squeamish. It's a disclaimer. If you are sensitive, don't read these books, either one of them. But if you are not too sensitive, you're not too squeamish, you can read a book called Transformation of America. That's three words: trans, like in a trance, formation of America. Uh, and that lady in that book breaks down a lot of these relationships. There's also another book called Thanks for the Memories. And it's a book about someone who was associated with Bob Hope. And when you go through that book, they're both on YouTube for free. You can sit and listen to them for free, both of them. And they'll outline it. But when the brother said, "Oh, these people know each other," yeah, they all know each other. Barack Obama been slated to be the president when he was a little boy. They told him, "You'll be the president. We'll put you in about this time." So I just wanted to let him know he was right on that those people know each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the most powerful people in the world. It all intersects to these societies. Um, let's look at some scholarship. Australian politician and occultist Adolf Hitler, born in a small border town. I don't know how to pronounce that. Brahmahamlian. I don't know. Hitler was a moody and difficult child. Blah blah blah. He had a passion for reading and philosophy and art. He dropped out of school in 1905 and in 1907 went to Vienna in hope of enrolling in the prestigious Vienna Academy of Art. He failed the entrance exams twice. However, unwilling to return home, he ended up on Vienna's mean streets, seeking out a living as a postcard painter and a male prostitute. He was slanging that thing, ladies and gentlemen. Um, which which thing he was slanging. Our sister Wani has a theory on that, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But the reason why I'm bringing, I'm not gonna do it, Wani. I can't. I can't. Anyway, this some shit I ain't never said before. Check this out. Let me skip around. So while he was slanging that thing, he got the attention of an occultist in Novo Ordo Templi. That's the new order of Templars. Uh-oh. You know, the people who went looking for the Holy Grail. And Novo Order Templi sent him into chance occurrences with that Thule Society I was just talking about. And the Virile Society. These people are in touch. There are a group of people on this planet who are in touch with, who know exactly what the fuck is going on. They're manipulating exactly what the fuck is going on. And in my personal opinion, I think they think this shit is funny. And you know what? It might be. I don't know. Maybe it is funny. You know, maybe we're in a big ass video game or some shit. I don't know. But last but not least, Hitler was linked to the Vril Society, the Tibetan Adepts, um, and Trevor Rosecraft's 1972 book, The Spear of Destiny, built on his whole tale of Hitler's quest to seize and control the Spear of Belongings. Um, Wani, what's going on with Tibet? What's going on there? Why is
In
so
what
many
way?
secretive ancient knowledge
Oh
with
yeah, they're
what is
just
that
up there.
about?
They Oh boy, that's a tough one. But they have the spiritual system up there, but they say they have a vortex up there where things come out and they may have more um contact with the other side because of the location. It's one of those locations where it has some a vortex, like over there at the Skinwalker Ranch, where that's not a good vortex though. Or like the Bermuda Triangle. That's not a good vortex either. There's a few of them that are not good. I mean, you disappear. It could be good. I don't know what they did. They just disappeared. They could be having a good time.
Can we get seventh word on that opinion on that? Because the
Yes,
beauty, yes.
he's going to not like it.
Uh-oh. See, I'm not ignoring you, Seven. It's just my app is putting you all the way at the bottom, so I don't see your hand. Go ahead, Seven.
Okay, yeah, you're talking about the religious thing. Let me address what you said about
The
the religious
vortexes.
commitment. Okay, don't worry. I'll get to it. I'm going to get to everything about the religious commitment. No one was more committed than the Puritans. They were so committed they got ran out of Europe. The reason why it took place in Russia is because by that time communism had been formulated. It could have taken place in France during the French Revolution, but that already happened. So that's why it took place in Russia because that was the place similar at the time. About the you want to know about the Bermuda Triangle? Okay, look, I've been through the Bermuda
Tell
Triangle.
us about it.
Uh, okay, yeah, like is there a magnetic deviation that's strange? Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
I've seen it.
Okay. So we're
Yeah,
not in
magnetic
we're not in
deviation.
opposition. Continue.
Because I was standing watch on the bridge, and I noticed how the flux gate compass was disagreeing with the gyro compass, and I asked the quartermaster, "Hey, what's the magnetic deviation on the charts?" And he told me it's this many degrees. And I'm saying, look, man, you look at the flux gate constant. This shit don't compute because the Earth's magnetic field it wobbles over time. So before the days of gyro compasses and GPS, I can understand like how ships got lost and all that. But
Yeah, okay. So
with
remember when the plane got lost and then they sent a fleet of planes to find it?
what
And then that
plane and
what plane?
what plane
That's
at what
exactly what
time?
the Bermuda Triangle said.
Okay, yeah, but
This
what
was in the
at what time?
50s.
Okay, but GPS didn't exist
They
back
had
then, so yeah, I can
radar. They
understand.
went into wherever, and then they said, "Oh, we'll just send another fleet up to get them," and then they disappeared. Yeah, you can't disappear all those planes. That doesn't make any
Sure,
sense.
sure, you
No,
can.
you
Yeah,
can't.
planes disappear all the
But
time.
not
I
all
mean,
of them. Some part or something has to show
statistically,
up.
yes.
Now, what about all the
I mean,
ships? And
I
people
had a teacher.
people won't even go into the Sargasso Sea because same thing.
I've been in there.
That's not fun though. Did you have any did
Yeah,
you have any
it was fun to
did
me.
you have
I
you
survived.
have any
It
electrical
look
problems in
statistics
there?
is
Did you
statistics.
have
Se-
any
se-
electrical problems in there?
7-4.
No,
I respect you, bro, and I fuck with you, but I can't rock with you on the skepticism because I used to be a skeptic, but I've had several encounters, and you do know that I have a couple of them on I recorded a couple of them and got my copyright paperwork so I can share it with the world. So what I'm saying is there's strange shit out here. A couple of people in this room have seen some of the shit I seen. I seen a fucking ghost looking in my or some type of interdimensional fucking being staring at me in Africa. I was showing it to this girl. She said, "Is that a face?" Yes, it's a face. It's some shit that you can't explain going on. I'm not gonna say it's a
uh,
ghost, but it.
okay. I mean, if all right, if you want to debate history,
No,
science,
we're
I'm
just
with you.
talking
But
about statistics of all of those things just totally disappearing.
Yeah, a
I
whole, a
had
okay,
a
whole.
I had a te- I
Hey,
had a professor
seven.
who had a theory that
Oh,
they used Amelia as a sacrifice, and that she might come back
she
when we
couldn't.
all
She didn't know how to use the radio.
Just trying to make
Amelia
fun of
Earhart.
her.
yeah, that they used her
Monica
as a
Lewinsky's.
sacrifice to go through some type of like portal, and that Wani, yes, that they did use a covert like that they would go after and find her, but supposedly she might come back when we're like all old or something like
I
that.
know, I know. I read the report. I know where she is, but we're gonna go to Robbie, and I'll tell you about Amelia Earhart in a moment.
No, I was just gonna say as a joke, Monica Lewinsky's name originally was Bermuda.
The triangle.
She
Oh
sucked
boy.
up a lot of
Oh
stuff.
boy.
that's
A lot of semen.
that's funny.
Shame on
Um.
you,
So
Robbie. Shame on you.
Amelia Earhart, she disappeared over like like a Japanese controlled island, but some Marines got turned POW, and there were rumors during World War II. There were rumors that they saw like a white lady, and like what the hell is a white lady? Like there were little reports of a group of Marines. Um, I think it was some early MARSOC people. Well, MARSOC didn't exist, but the raiders that became MARSOC. Y'all can fact check me on that though. But yeah, there were just reports here and there of Marines and soldiers in captivity seeing a white lady just vaguely. What the fuck? And they found her initials. I forget the island it is. It may be somebody help me out. The
Was it Fiji?
it was something like um Pelelu or something. It was
Oh.
one of those World War II islands like Iwo Jima, like where it was a great battle. I want to say Pelelu. It was some island where the Japanese just fought it out with the Marines. It wasn't Iwo Jima.
Are
I
you
want
okay? So this okay. So yes, same
they found
conversation
her
that I literally had
they found her initials written on the side of a like in a cave, like
in a
she.
cave. But see, somebody argued that that could have been a POW who was trying to signal message to his family.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that coincides with the POWs who saw a white lady with red hair. Like, why is she here?
Let's get back to me
Oh,
arguing with Seven about things being spooky.
Come on with
Things are spooky, so there.
it. What do you say to that, Seven? She got you. Things are spooky. We don't know. We don't know what the fuck's going on, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
mean, if he need convincing, I got a spooky story.
I want to hear it, but first I'm gonna say we're pieces. You know how weird this shit is. Let me tell you how weird it is. We're all pieces of meat filled with water on a rock in the middle of nowhere spinning around a fireball. Everything's weird.
There's a fireball at the core of the earth, so one could say as above, so below.
Weird. Just totally weird. Why?
I think Immortal
That's
Immortal wants to.
that's what I wanted to bring it back around to. Because I think that you mentioned somebody mentioned how Hitler. You give us some background on his life. Wow. Okay. Wow on that. But he was one of the reasons why he was sending expeditions into Tibet and other places is for technology.
Exactly.
And Tibet is a very special place because of where it's positioned on the planet. At different places on the planet, um, electromagnetic phenomenon is different. In some places on the planet, gravity is different. It might be less gravity. It just depends on where you are on the planet. Somebody said, and I can't remember if it's latitude or longitude. I think it's the one that goes across and not up and down. But I think it was 19.5 degrees across longitude, latitude, all the way around the planet. Weird stuff happens there. And if you have the right mind or the right apparatus, you can do some esoteric things. But Hitler was on that mission in Tibet for technology that's lost. And I don't think I'm in a place. I think I'm comfortable. I think y'all know that the Earth has gone through cycles, and you understand that where we are now is not the highest technology that's ever been on the planet. It's
That's
been
a
it's been
fucking
higher.
facts.
It's been higher more than
Oh,
once.
oh,
And you
oh,
go to these
bro,
yeah. And so he was up there
bro.
looking for technology. Yeah, go ahead.
No, no, I was just agreeing
Yeah,
with
he
you.
was looking for technology.
It's definitely been
And
hot.
that's why,
I'm reading some shit right now.
I'm sorry, I don't.
No, no, we're kind of lost in
No,
translation.
that's exactly what's going on. Tibet was one of the places, just like India. India might not have the vortexes, but they have the text. And Tibet has the vortexes and the energy. So they were going around to all these places trying to gather information. They didn't care where they got it from.
They
Yeah,
thought they were gonna get it in the
Yeah, and
Congo.
they
They
were
thought the
going.
Congo was Wakanda. Turns out it might be.
Well, they went into
Professor
Congo and came out and brought AIDS to everybody. So that
and
didn't
they were
work
cut.
out very well. That's what the. Did you know that, like in 1921, the Congolese colonists went back to Germany, and then all of a sudden, infants with premature infants started getting a weird pneumonia,
Oh,
and that morphed into the pneumonia that causes HIV and AIDS. So they brought that from the Congo. They were probably eating monkey meat or being in close contact with someone that ate monkey meat.
I mean, true, but Professor, I saw the video. What you said about the metal or the element or whatever that charged itself like by touching itself.
Oh yeah, crazy shit.
Like that was really weird. And so, but I mean, who's to say like everything that we see in comic books, like you said, it's all planned out. They're gonna tell us in a video game, they're gonna tell us in card games, and they're gonna laugh at us because a lot of people don't understand what's going on.
Savannah, you
Um,
gonna fuck around and make me spit some real game on here. I shouldn't do
you
that.
bet. Come on.
I
I mean,
shouldn't
come
do
on.
it.
You
I'm.
got to. You
I don't
got
want
to.
to.
Eh?
There's a
I mean,
there's a book that's hard to find. It shows up here and there. You can buy it at Barnes and Noble, but it's never in stock. It's a tiny book. I think the shit's $7. It's called the Kybalion. Now the Kybalion was allegedly written by Thoth the Atlantean. So when Immortal said the world used to be more advanced, Thoth the Atlantean was one of the seven sages who, after the world was destroyed, went around to rebuild civilization. Along with Quetzalcoatl and others. Well, in the Kybalion, that's where it identifies as above, so below, and all that. Well, the Kybalion talks about I'm gonna get it wrong. Let's see. The everything is made out of just several principles. Fuck, you gonna make me go find my Kybalion.
oh, and also too,
Seven principles.
immortal,
The top
immortal,
principles
immortal.
Mental,
mentalism.
yeah. Okay, what are they? Mental. What's the
Uh,
other one?
what's the,
The law of opposites,
Polarity.
polarity. Keep going.
Then there's cause
Cause
and
and
effect.
effect. Something with sex, feminine,
Uh,
masculine, right?
yeah, masculine and feminine. But it doesn't have anything to do with sex. It has to do with masculine energy, feminine energy.
Right.
Yeah, that's another
I'm
one.
gonna go have to read back through my Kabbalion again, but basically to answer your question, very good, Immortal. To answer your question, Savannah, one of those in the Kabbalion, it identifies. It's like fucking. That's a Jedi handbook. Like that's some shit. If you meditate on, you can make shit happen. I'm gonna leave that right there.
oh,
Don't ask me how I know.
the deep. It's
If a
latitude.
if a government agency is listening, I'm not saying that I use my mind to float shit around. I'm not saying that at all. But
No,
anyway.
no, 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 nothing like that. But it's latitude, immortal, and that's where like DRC, literally the Republic of Congo and all of that, like that's literally right. It touches the equator line,
Well,
latitude. So
well,
everything. Oh,
in the Kabbalion, Thoth the Atlantean identifies the way shit works. He don't say it that way. That's the way I say it. But he says basically what goes around comes around. That's the law of the universe. That's one of them. I forget, maybe cause and effect. I forget which law that is. But it's just the way energy works. You get in what you put out. And the administrators of this system, the people who want run shit, these secret society people, they're fully aware of this. So the way they get around it's laws of polarity. I forget the law. Like
that's why great what is it, the witchcraft country. That's why it was only one season. I
you,
mean, Robbie was talking about something and about, or someone brought up how they use white women against black women covertly, or white women see us as the enemy, and how they got us under spells and
you got to
fighting each
tell.
other.
Basically, you got to tell people if you're harming them. If you don't want to be hurt, and I forget which law this is. It's one we didn't say, unless it's cause and effect. I forget. But you got to let people know. You got to say, hey, I'm giving you poison. It's killing you, and you have to give them free will. The way it was described to me in a place dot 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 was if I give Savannah a cup full of poison and say, Savannah, this shit good, drink it, and she drinks it and she drops dead, I just murdered her. According to karma, what goes around comes around. As above, so below, right? As within, so without. So, but if I give Savannah a drink that has poison in it, and I say, Savannah, this shit is the bomb. Everybody loves it. Now, every once in a while, somebody die when they drink it, but it ain't gonna happen. You ain't gonna die. But I'm just letting you know, every once in a while, people feel so good they just fucking drop dead. If she drinks it under those auspices, she committed suicide, and I'm not guilty of her karma. So that Savannah, I'm saying that to say that's why you watch these movies that be talking about shit, then you be like, I wonder is that really going on? And or you watch a movie where shit happens and you 10 years later it happens and you're like, damn, I thought I saw that in the movie. It was some movie where the fucking Twin Towers came down. What movie was that? What was that? A Simpsons or some shit? Like in the 90s, the Twin Towers came down.
Before it happened. Yeah, that's spooky. Care to
Somebody was
No, they flirted around with that in a lot of uh even Biggie blow up like the World Trade. Everybody always flirted around with that. But yeah,
the World Trade blew up twice. It blew up in 1994 or five. It was a botched. It didn't work. Somebody drove a truck full of high explosive in it and detonated it. They killed like a couple people, but that fucking truck full of high explosive didn't even put a dent in the building. Like the building still stood. So I remember some engineers bringing that shit up after those planes flew. He's like, man, if high explosive didn't take the building down, how did jet fuel take it down? Jet fuel is JP5.
Mm,
That's
yeah.
kerosene. It's
yes.
kerosene. How did that take it?
My cousin was an engineer and he lived in New York and he never went for it. He said it was inconsistent. So, seven, anything you want to say? More tinfoil hat stuff?
Cascading fractures.
What happened?
Cascading fractures.
Cascading fractures. I'm not familiar with that term.
I know what he's saying, but
If
I
you
don't agree.
Well, that's what happened.
No,
No.
no, no.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you because you what you do is you give a counter argument and you keep it interesting on stage. But surely, bro, you can't believe that. You really think
Yes, I
What
you
do.
about
think
the
those
other
planes?
building? What
Yeah.
about
What
the
about
other
Building
buildings?
Seven?
They all just happen to
Yeah, I
have the
mean, if you have a
same.
fire burning long
They're full
enough
of it.
and hot enough, yeah, the mechanical structure of the
No.
steel will weaken and
What
a
about the other
cascading
one?
fracture will
What
Hold on,
about
let me
the
happen.
other
address that.
building?
Let me address it. Let me address it. Okay, I hear you and I agree with you. You said strong enough, intense enough, and hot enough. Well, JP5,
Which is what
that's
happened.
not what happened. JP5 is impossible to burn. JP5, that's
When you get the fire going, it's going to go. It's
No,
like
it's not.
no,
diesel
it won't.
fuel.
You can't. No, 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 no.
JP5 is
no, you would need
basically
No,
diesel
thermite,
case
fuel.
man.
tight,
I,
They
case
didn't have
tight.
that shit ain't thermite.
I know all of.
It's not about
I know
thermite.
all about. I know all about this
If you
one.
get a little bit of heat going and then a little more heat going and a little more heat going, it's going to go up
Come on,
exponentially.
Not a
You'll
chance.
get the
Evan.
fire going and there you
No, no,
go.
no.
If we
How
get
does
trapped with
that?
seven
Can I
four,
ask?
if
Can
we
I
get
ask?
trapped with
How
seven
does?
four,
No, 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 no. I know a whole bunch about this shit. My uncle was the only black man in Alabama registered to as demolishing. My dad was in the Navy. My uncle, my dad's brother worked on A6 intruders in the Navy. I knew all about this shit. JP5, the only way to get it that hot enough to melt steel, I think those girders were reinforced. They were treated steel. And I think the temperature was at least 4,000 degrees before they melt. 4,000. To get JP5 that hot, you need a ratio of the JP5 and pure oxygen. It's not gonna happen. Guys, JP5 is about as explosive as candle wax. We can put JP5 on a table and light it. It's not going. It needs something else. It needs air. But like to get that hot to burn those girders, I don't buy it. I don't. You can't make me buy it. Furthermore, if somehow by the stroke of luck, a breeze was blowing that high that um got that JP5 up to 3,000 degrees, which is not gonna happen. Because you want to know how I know it wasn't gonna happen? I used to teach physics. Do y'all know that temperature expresses itself in color? Y'all know that? Y'all know that sunlight is 5,000 degrees Kelvin. White light is 5,000 degrees. Firemen know that. When you look at a yellow flame, you're looking at a roughly about 1,000 degrees. Orange, you're looking at 800 degrees. Red, that's 500 degrees Kelvin. To get 3,000 degrees, that flame would be white, damn near white, with a
Blue.
yellow, almost white. And that wasn't the color of the flames coming out those buildings. I saw it on TV. I was in high school. They were red fucking flames. They weren't hot enough. Furthermore, why did the building fall like it was demolished? Why did it collapse on itself? That don't happen naturally.
Society of engineers are raising
Right.
money. Society of engineers are raising money
It
right
felt like
now
a
to get in
controlled
front of
demolition. Yes, sir.
Congress to argue that same point, Professor. Like the Society of Engineers, like the top engineers all over the world, are raising money right now to get in front of Congress because they're not having it. And I'm also like a science nerd. Like I took everything I could: physics, chemistry, AP biology. Well, I couldn't take AP biology because I took AP Chem. They were at the same time. Um, but I took anatomy, all of it, because of it. I was so curious because I did not want nobody to tell me what I didn't want nobody to be able to tell me anything. I knew it was important to know a little bit about everything about something, or I knew it was
So
important to know a
so
little
so
bit about
what you
everything.
think? What you think of the current biggest hoax that we just went through with the jab and the arm?
Oh, I didn't get that bullshit. I have a auntie who's from Alabama, got her education from Alabama, um, and took it up north, and she said, "Don't get that, sweetheart. You healthy, you young. If you do get it, you'll fight it. Don't get it." So I'm gonna
I
listen to
mean, it
her.
wasn't tested properly. That's my
No,
argument.
no, and
I
then
have nothing against I
back
have
in
nothing against
2015.
vaccinations. I've taken all of them, but I'm not going to take vaccinations that aren't tested, tried and
Yeah, I
true.
mean,
No, I
yeah,
no,
and
I meant as far as it being as
gene
far as
therapy.
as far as it reaching the level of pandemic, or it being released, or where it came from.
Well, so I had a professor who he's from China, but he studied in Wuhan, and he was tenured, and he told us back in like before winter break um, that he had friends that were dropping or whatever, and people were getting sick. He told us back before winter break. He said, and this was before anything. He said, if there's one case in the United States, I'm going to make school or make class, excuse me, online, and they can't. There's nothing they can do about it because it's spreading, right? So I believe that it was a virus, right? But I also believe that they know how to mm, pick out certain genetics and people that they want to quote unquote target. And so with that, again, that whole if you get upset, if you allow yourself to get upset, and all that fear, mind over fear factor, I think this was just another ploy, another gimmick, and that yes, it was something, but I think it wasn't the Spanish flu, right?
Was it engineered?
Oh, for sure. I mean, they have theories. They believe that it was they believe that it was engineered by China. They believe some theory that it was either engineered by China because they wanted to wipe out the older population because they're like a noose under for the government, but then also too to calm down the Hong Kong wars that were going on because Hong Kong is now they want to be their own independent state, but that whole contract ended with the Britain government getting their protection, this, that, and the third. But they also believe that it could have been something that they used to, like, those were the two theories. It was either to wipe out the older youth population, but to also calm down the climate, the Hong Kong wars. But
Well,
they also believe,
you know
but they
that
also believe that if that was the case to wipe out the elderly, then it was a worldly thing to wipe out the elderly of all the world nations, and that's why I think they basically just threw um, what's the guy Cuomo under the bus because he did what a lot of other governors did in their own states with their elderly.
Well,
but
well,
I don't believe.
It,
Go ahead,
I
Professor.
fucking was a professor. That's where my name comes from. I was professor um who became an administrator under that vaccine. What I'm trying to say is Congressman Steve Cohen of Memphis and some professors at Rhodes College, a PWI, real expensive PWI, got together and Cohen got together millions of fucking dollars. I think it was damn near $100 million to study the effects of the COVID-19 vaccine on people in Mississippi Delta, which basically means black people. You understand? And this was going to be done just with the PWIs of white institutions, but the federal government has a stipulation that says you need at least one minority serving institution on the grant. So my college, my historically black college, got listed on that grant, and I really that's my best job ever. I felt like one of the X-Men because we were all professors from different schools, you know,
So you
running
met
on
some of my professors.
at Rhodes.
Well, yeah, I mean, because Ohio's. Well, are you talking about the bridge program from like China to different universities? No, I'm sorry, I
No,
might be jumping the
no,
gun.
no, no, no,
I'm
no. It
sorry.
was this was in Memphis. We were just it was five colleges studying one of the I can't identify what shot it was, but one of the vaccines. And they put me on the grant. They were not happy about having a black dude on that fucking grant. They were not. They were like, "Why is he here?" But I'm still looking through the paperwork to see if I signed an NDA. I don't think I did. And if I didn't, I'm gonna tell y'all some shit.
Oh
But
yeah, you have
Well,
to.
do y'all
Because I
remember?
learned
Do
from
y'all
the
remember
class.
too? And I meant that this was another theory. Sorry, but if you all remember, there was a contract between China and the United States during that time. And during that time, if you look at the fine print of that contract, we were about to put the foot to the metal to China in terms of getting our money back under Trump. If there was anything to happen, like an act of God, quote unquote, natural disaster or a pandemic, that it would eliminate the quote unquote contract that we had with China in general. So those are just some of the theories that they were throwing out in China themselves.
But you know, they recently just I don't know if you guys heard about it, but these Chinese nationalists that be coming over here, they have bio labs that are set up right now, right here around the country. So
I ain't saying shit.
Yeah, but I mean, but we literally paid. We were Dr. Fauci's sugar daddy when it came to
no, this one got busted by the ones that they did find were,
you
you
talking
know,
about in Stanford, over in
they weren't.
Stanford.
No, I don't, I'm not talking about that one. They weren't authorized by any government agency or anything. These were uh basically terrorist labs.
Yeah,
These
Yeah, it was
motherfuckers.
Stanford,
what?
Berkeley,
Thank you.
and I
Tell
think
me the real.
Boston, and then MIC.
This was the last one they just busted was just last year. I don't know how many more they done busted, but they're working on a new
We got
strand.
Jose. We got
So
one
the
San
type
Jose.
of
So
uh,
so 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 You know, I know Oh, I exactly get it. what you're talking. Yeah, you know what it
is he
is,
all right?
and secretly, you know it. Like, damn. Okay, continue.
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
know.
what the hell was he talking about? Anyway, uh,
Alcohol.
yeah, that nigga. Nah, so they just had these labs just busted, and they had SARS, they had HIV, they had AIDS, they had COVID, they had all the. So they're working on a new strand or some type of shit where um they're trying to create because you know like the COVID shit had like traces. It has like features of the HIV. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's calling it the COVIDs and shit like that. But yeah, there's some crazy shit with the. That's why Trump is like, look, the first motherfuckers that we get out of here are these goddamn Chinese nationalists.
I mean, but COVID always been a thing. Remember Bernie Mac when everybody got sick in the house? He was like, man, everybody got that corona. Everybody got that COVID. He was making
Now,
COVID.
Corona is different though.
But I
Then
mean, it's genetic. It's been modified. It's been tested with. It's been corrupted. It's been all of that. I mean, yeah. But it's one of those things where it's been a thing. It's always been a thing. And yes, they did take it to the lab to see if they could boost it up, give it steroids, and turn it into something else to help with their agenda. But yeah, I think it failed. I mean, I think it probably did
who
enough.
knows? Maybe it has an incubation period. This new shit. Maybe it has an incubation period that we don't know about that is going to later unravel itself. And especially for those who took that goddamn bullshit ass vaccine. So I don't know. Scary shit.
I mean, when you, because I mean, I also looked at and listened to Pfizer, right? Because if you look at their advisory board committee meetings, they're like 8 hours long. But if you go to the porch where they talk about any concerns and where people are supposed to basically admit if they have any other outside funding or any other quote unquote biases, the people who sounded the alarm were people from doctors from Israel and South Africa, right? And they were using data and they were using stats and statistics versus everybody else that was saying that the shot was fine. They were like, "Yeah, the shot good, everything's fine. Yep, everything's fine." But they were coming out. People in Israel like, "Well, hold on. Myocarditis is showing up in our boys, and this is after the administration the shot's been administered. Not in 2020. We see a spike in 2021." And South Africa was just like basically like this some bullshit, and here's why. And they were given that data, and this is on the advisory committee meeting. You can go on YouTube. It's 8 hours long, but like I think if you go to like the 3 hour mark, you could see it for yourself. It was some bullshit.
Guess where the place that was least affected, the continent that was least affected by the virus?
Africa,
Why do you think that is,
because they
Professor?
refuse it. Let me shut up.
No, I mean, yeah,
They
the
refuse
doctors were literally like
transportation and logistics.
the doctors. If you go to the YouTube, and that's why I'm like, I sent it to anybody that was like going to med school because a lot of people were like, oh no, my professor was like, no, this is da, da, da." Anyways, they literally were like, no one has gotten it. We have no cases. Um,
So you're saying the
we have
shot
sent our
is you're
doctors
saying the
to your
shot
your
hold
countries.
on. You're saying the
Oh, I'm
shot
sorry.
is giving it to people?
No.
Okay,
Um.
then why doesn't Africa have it supposedly?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I think the shot is what's getting people sick.
Is
Like I think,
you're saying the
yeah,
shot is giving people COVID?
yeah.
No, that's wrong.
No, no, no,
It's
no, no,
making them
no. I'm
sick,
sorry.
not COVID.
I think it's getting people sick, not
Because I
COVID. Because COVID
remember people
had. I think. Yeah.
I
Sorry.
remember people left Wuhan, China, went to Washington and infected everybody in Washington. Another one
Oh
went
yeah. No. 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 No.
wait,
No. Yeah. No.
another
My bad.
one
I'm
went
sorry.
directly
That's not what they were
to
saying.
northern Italy and insisted upon delivering food and was told you have COVID, don't deliver food. This was before the vaccination.
No, that's not what they were saying. They were showing. They were basically
I'm
stating
trying to
that
say a
the.
sentence. And
Oh.
they
Okay.
went
My bad.
they went to northern Italy, insisted upon delivering food and made people in northern Italy so sick. They were,
Mhm.
oh, it was a disaster up there. And it was all because this Chinese restaurant insisted upon letting sick people deliver food to people. So that was before the shot. So
Bam.
there is a virus and they are
Yeah.
spreading
Oh,
it
I'm
and
sorry.
it is
Damn.
coming from Wuhan, China. Because those two people came from Wuhan, China, and they did infect people.
No, listen. I believe it. I believe that the virus was a thing because I went to a wedding in San Diego and came back and was sick as a dog, and this was November 2019. Um, and I was in my bed, but then again, I don't know. I don't know if that was COVID, but I do
Now, that
believe that
shot, I don't know what that is, but I'm not
yeah,
taking it because it's not
nah.
tested properly.
And
Well,
and
what
then
did
also
what
too,
did they refuse though? The Democrats are not in office anymore. What did they refuse?
well, I mean,
Hello?
the argument that the doctors were making was that the vaccine itself was not stopping the spread, and it also wasn't solving anything. If anything, it was making it worse
No, the
because of the spike of
vaccination,
myocarditis that they
the
saw.
the vaccination did not work because my doctor said, "How come you don't want the shot?" And I said, "Why are you wearing a mask?"
Hmm.
You answer my question first. Why are you wearing a mask and telling me to get a shot?
I knew it wasn't working because my when I was doing driver's ed, my driver's ed instructor was wearing two masks, and I was wearing a mask, and I could smell his breath. Right then and there, I was just like, if he got something, I got it. I could smell his breath.
Hello? Am I on?
And I wasn't airborne. I mean, well, I mean, of course is airborne, but it ain't going. It wasn't killing people the way that they said when they showed those pictures of them hospitals that were full and going crazy like that. That was mostly in Europe. It affected them because they got fucking China. They got everybody over there. So
They got so
that's
mad in Italy.
Italy. What she just mentioned in Italy really happened.
They had signs up that says, "Do your civic duty. Don't go into this Chinese store." They completely crushed that place. I mean, they tore it up. And they said, "Don't come back to the conservatory," because they had all their little behinds all up in their music conservatory trying to take all the spaces and move the Italians out of the way. And they said, "Don't come back." There's an article that says, "Don't come back to this conservatory." Oh, you're being racist. Oh, shut up. Just go do it in China. Stop getting in everybody's
and
schools and suing people because you can't be 100% of the population.
yeah, and then here comes the Stop Asian Hate Crime bill, slipped
Well, they
underneath
were beating them up.
the Green New
The
Deal.
Asians were actually beating them up. In the UK, some Indian people were whipping up on them. Somebody brought a Chinese girl to a party, and the guy said, "Get her out of here," and all hell broke loose. UK was beating up a lot of them. I know that they took their passports when they were traveling, and told them, get out. And they were fighting and trying to get back in the countries that were kicking them out from other countries. So they were like, "Okay, I got kicked out, but I'm going to come through Malaysia, or I'm going to come through." And Australia said, "Don't come back," because people were on their school break and they were trying to break back into Australia. They were being aggressive. They just don't have the reputation for aggression, so you just don't understand it. They were being hyper aggressive about doing things that people were telling them not to do. And then they were getting beat the hell up because they kept doing things and going places and violating and entering countries when they weren't supposed to be doing it.
But who they use but you know, remember
Us.
who they
They
use as a
used us. They
scapegoat.
used us. We were the least person to be doing anything to them. White people were beating them up 90% of the time in this country, and over in the UK, same thing. But in the other countries, like where were they getting beat up? They were getting beaten up in places they were vacationing that were Asian countries. They did not like them. They were literally going hotel to hotel. Where's the Chinese passports? Who checked
Singapore.
in here? Yeah, all those places, they were kicking them out and getting violent because they wouldn't leave.
I'm about to assess ICE.
Hello? Is my speaker on?
Yes.
Well, I'd like to comment on this COVID conversation, if y'all don't mind. I
Sure.
see the United States had a way of pointing at China off the dribble from my standpoint. But imagine, well, I ain't gonna say imagine. Let's say China did do it. Look at the effect that the disease had around the world. It basically brought it to a standstill. Now, if I was China, I wouldn't have a problem saying I did it because if you came messing with me, I'm gonna unleash it again on you. So just think about whoever really had it. she wouldn't have had a problem stepping up and saying, it was me. And if you mess with me, I got it for you. So this let me know that it wasn't Putin them because now we see that, Donald Trump sent him some COVID tests. So they didn't release it. China didn't release it. Ain't nobody stepped up and said it came from us and not have a problem with it. Now, being how effective COVID was, it would make whatever country stepped up the real superpower, from my standpoint.
Yeah, professor still ain't telling us.
Huh?
Oh,
Professor,
I ain't saying shit.
why?
I know. I listen. You listen. I hear. Listen, Professor, and see, and that's smart. That's
what
very
five though
smart.
did
You
you
have
go
to.
though?
I mean,
But
you got. I mean, that's just
I got
logic.
sources.
Logic say the strongest one gonna step up. You see how the United States is. They the superpower. No superpower is gonna have a problem stepping up, saying I did. What I did. Imagine if Trump would have did it. Imagine if he had the power to do it. You think he have a problem saying he did it?
But you know what? I want to. You know what? Because he had. I was listening to that, and I had kind of stumbled on some of that information. But I wanted to go back to what Professor was talking about, morals and dogma. That's a serious situation that we kind of just overlooked. But this is the final step of it because it even say that in Revelations that but this occultism, it's all like some type of string theory where it's all tied in together. And I know you talking about Albert Pike, but that was like the godfather of Satan or Satanism. You know what I'm saying? Then you got a bunch of other people that are involved in that. But I wanted to give so we at the final stage, and I was saying this earlier when I was in the war room. Like, this is what this is looking like. If we do, because they're trying to they're also trying to claim a national emergency in order to keep power, or they're just throwing the old man underneath the bus because if he's on his way to he's on hospice, so they're behind the scenes doing the most dirtiest shit that they can do, but it's a part of their plan, and that goes back to rules.
No, I'm not. No, you good. I was talking to my dog.
Oh no, yeah, but no, go ahead, because that's what I was saying.
You good, bro? It's this shit's deep. That rabbit hole, go. You know what I'm saying? One of these days we're gonna have a space on that whole COVID debacle because I know a whole lot about it. I know a whole lot about it. I had to write the congressional report, one of my highlights of my career. So I wrote a report to Congress that never got read. The Democratic Congress didn't read it. They didn't. I mean, they got it, but they didn't make it an issue because it had some issues on it. You know what I'm saying? But but yeah, one of these days, once I have time to read my paperwork and make sure that I didn't sign a non-disclosure, we're gonna talk about that one. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I enjoyed y'all. I see our story got her hand up. We're gonna go to our story, then Art. Go ahead, our story.
Yeah, well, two comments. Going back to 9/11, I'm totally in agreement with you, Professor. People don't speak about the third building that fell that day. I believe it's Building 5.
7.
It was not hit with an airplane, and it fell that day.
Right.
Um, and hey, draw your own conclusions. And as far as the jab, um, it takes 7 to 10 years to completely do the scientific process and protocols to approve a vaccine. So if they rushed a job and then they rushed it out to everybody in the field, and then they put GPS trackers and whatnot from Google on your phones and whatnot, what part of the experiment do you think you were in? And I'll land my plane. Thank you.
Exactly. Again, I will talk about it once I get through reading my paperwork because I got a lot of complaints. The college I worked for made me take it. They made me. I had no choice. And then I quit my job and got hired. And once I onboarded, they said, "Oh, you're gonna have to take it, or your job is, no longer the contract is voided." So I had no choice. And and then I studied it. And some of the shit, I'm gonna put it to y'all like this: some of the shit that my I was learning in the field that went on my report, some of that shit happened to me. So, you know, I'm pretty sure I didn't sign an NDA. That whole experience was a blur. Y'all remember the pandemic? That shit was like surreal.
Yeah, it's still a blur.
It's like what the fuck? Like everything shut down for a minute, and I mean it was a lot to be learned during that period. Mark Carter said it. Um, when pandemic happened, I was a high school teacher. I taught physics, and I ended up getting a job at a college right shortly after it started. But my high school shut down, and we all went virtual, which was amazing. We went virtual for like fucking 4 months or something. It was wild. So my whole day worth of lessons turned into like I got paid what $60,000 a year to get on my laptop for about 45 minutes. They can condense the whole learning series into like 45 minutes. They had no plan. It caught everybody off guard. And man, dude, um me and my dog would go on these walks because I wasn't used to being at home that long. It's like, what? I don't got nowhere to go. So me and my dog would go to fucking Shelby Farms, which is if y'all ever go to Memphis, there's a gorgeous fucking park called Shelby Farms in Memphis. We go to Shelby Farms. It's really big. It's maybe like 10 square miles or something. And we went to Shelby Farms, and I watched in those first couple of weeks, people weren't driving their cars, planes weren't flying, everything was shut the fuck down. I watched the trees start like healing, like everything start coming together. The fucking trees start getting green and plants start blooming bigger and shit. And I was like, oh man, we are really killing Mother Earth with our stupidity, man. But the shit I witnessed as a researcher during that COVID-19 debacle was some wild shit, ladies and gentlemen. I promise y'all are gonna hear. I might have to write on that one because I did a mixed method study.
You need a researcher.
Yeah, yeah, I holler at you, but I did mixed methods, quantitative and qualitative. And quantitative, that's not really how many people took the shot. It's boring shit. The government loved it. But my qualitative data, man, qualitative is experiences. What happened? How'd you feel? What symptoms did you get? They were all the same. And then I heard the first couple months. I'm like, oh, that's bullshit. Whatever. And I started hearing it again. I'm like, wait a minute, these black folk, they ain't gonna be lying about this. And then the shit happened to me. I was like, holy shit. I got my theories on that vaccine, but we'll talk about it some other time. Ladies and gentlemen, I enjoyed y'all. Juan, did you have any last words? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't got my glasses on. I see Art. What Art? It's a blur. Art, what you got?
Yeah, I'll try to tie it all and be quick.
No, no,
I
take
think
take your
that
time. Take your time. You good.
yeah, I think during that time period, if you understand that leaders' main job is to sell hope, they had to sell hope. Unfortunately, the only thing they were offering in regards to immunity was to the corporations who were selling the vaccinations. So, you know, from my perspective, I also wanted to go into that dogma thing. I posted something in the jumbotron where it says leaders are usually a reflection of the people they lead, and how can a leader be moral if his people are not moral? And the reason why I said that is because a lot of people like to say that there's a boogeyman or there's a secret society. I think it's simpler than that. I think that the incentive mechanisms in which our current society runs, mainly through governmental means being fear or capitalistic means being greed, and then I'll go so far to say that the gov lives on crisis management, the weapons manufacturers live off wars. The healthcare lives off of sickness. The morgues live off of death. Money lives off greed. And gov runs on fear. And psychologists live off mental illness. Now, what do you have after all that? Um, we don't have incentive structures to run a society. And so it's just food for thought, as a alternative way of looking at how our current existence is. I'll let it there.
Um, Arthur, J Rim.
Thank you for allowing me up. I want to take it back to the 9/11 thing too, and but I want to add something else in there. I want to add the Maui fires in there. Do you what do you see the? You said you knew the steel melting point,
It depends on the grade of steel. Generally 3,000 degrees,
and you know what the melting point of aluminum,
a lot less.
and do you know the melting point of asphalt?
A lot higher.
A lot higher
Uh,
than aluminum or steel?
Asphalt, I think it's higher than aluminum. It might be higher than steel.
Okay, yeah,
No,
'cause
you talking I'm sorry, asphalt. Okay, I'm thinking about rock and sand. I don't know. I don't know asphalt. I don't know.
okay, well, it's lower than both of those. And
Okay.
the fires in Maui, it melted the glass out the windows, it melted the aluminum tires and stuff like that, but it didn't melt the asphalt or the paint on the road.
Because it was a laser. That's why.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. That I just want to say with both those instances, like fire acted like not like fire.
Well, Biden fucked up and said it. Like he said it.
The blue
Uh,
roof thing, right?
yeah, and
I
like
thought I wasn't the only one that heard that.
I taught physics. I love that course. That's the course they wouldn't let me learn in high school. I see how God does. I ended up teaching the shit. But anyway, in physics, laser is coherent light. It's just a bunch of the same light particles. When you turn on a lamp, it's a bunch of different spectrums, bunch of different. White light is a combination of the primary colors. So you got red, green, and was it red, green, and blue? I forget the last one. I know red, blue. It may be red, blue. I know red. God
Yellow.
damn. No, yeah,
Red, orange, yellow,
no, no,
green,
no, 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 no,
blue,
no.
indigo, violet.
I said primary, red, blue, green,
Yeah.
red, blue, green, because red and blue make yellow. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying no, red and blue
Red and blue makes
make
purple.
purple, and what was the other two? Green and red make yellow. But yeah, it's a primary colors in full combination. My point is, a laser is one pure coherent is one spectrum of light focused. And blue lasers get hotter than a motherfucker because heat is expressed through color. So blue, I'll tell you how hot blue is because I had some headlights on my car that were deep blue. Blue is 9,000 degrees Kelvin. 9,000 fucking degrees. But here goes the thing. The weird thing about lasers is if you're wearing the same color as that laser, it doesn't it'll flow around you. It doesn't resist. If and So wherever those lasers were coming from, we don't know where. Or let me put it this way, wherever that coherent light was coming from, it didn't react with blue rules.
The
Um,
melting point of asphalt is 130 and
to
330 43
27 minutes.
Fahrenheit.
Didn't Seven want to say something?
Oh, go
He
ahead.
was he was going to explode because we were
No,
saying
I know.
things.
I remember. Nah. I ain't going there. No more. I just, you say you had to take that vaccine for your job. Shit, I got me one of them vaccine cards from a nigga in the hood. There was no way I was taking that shit.
What? You are
I mean,
lucky.
I went-
Send me one.
I
Send me a
I
sock.
applied to be. I had applied to be a professor for shit. How many years? Oh, damn, 10 years. Yeah, it was 10 since I finished law school. I wanted to be professed for a while. And professor jobs are hard as fuck to get. And I applied to this college 2000 and damn, 8 years. 8 years. And apparently they just saved my credentials and it just came it was my time. So they hired me and then was like, you know what? Can you manage this? It was a dream job. I was like the fucking X-Men, man. I was like the black professor. Like I would go with, you know, into the hood and like collect data and then go yell at people like, you give me this, Congressman Steve Cohen demands it. Like that shit was awesome. Um, but like I signed up, got insurance, got me and my wife fucking health insurance and, you know, quit my other job, got in my big old pretty office in a 200-year-old building. And they're like, sorry, you got to take this. And I was like, I'm not taking shit. And they're like, we got strict policy. The president does strict policy. Either you take it or you forfeit your job. Yeah. So I was like, fuck. I got me a forged vaccine card. I say, man, I ain't taking this shit. I say, fuck this. Man, it was too fast. I thought about that too. I thought about, well, I guess I shouldn't say that on X, but that thought crossed my mind. But it's, in Tennessee, they had stamps and all kinds of shit on them. I fucking folded. I said, how bad could it be? And I had some experiences. I'm gonna write about it. Yeah, once I found out that vaccine could fuck with your troponin levels, I say, I ain't taking it. I don't want a heart attack.
Professor, why do you think
Man,
if they know where it came out the Wuhan lab or whatever, why do you think they're still able to operate
well, who is they?
Democrats? The Wuhan lab, the scientists and everything at that lab? Why, like, it was no like uh ill
Consequence?
repercussions, yeah, none at all, and they still up and running, and they killed millions of people.
Because you're dealing with that's what governments do is kill people. Like you're dealing with corruption on a magnitude that many of us really just don't comprehend. It's just we don't. I don't. I was an insider for a little while through that job. And even though I was an insider, people wouldn't fucking talk. Oh my God, it was. I would go to the medical school, UT medicine and shit to get the research that I was entitled to. Nobody would give me anything. And I start wondering then. I was like, wait a minute, why is everybody getting hush hush? It started making me nervous because I had took the vaccines. I was like, can you just give me the fucking data? Nobody would give me. I'm like, that shit it's not encrypted. They don't have a security clearance. This is public record. Why they wouldn't let me know things like I'm talking about physicians on high magnitude, Dr. Fauci level researchers wouldn't give me shit and would get. And then I went to UT Medicine, the medical library, started asking about it, and then they were like, the medical school librarian went all hush hush and shit, and went and talked to her boss. They talked to their boss, talked to their boss, and the white men standing down there looking at me with their arms crossed, like, who is he really? Who is he? And then the Asian librarian come back downstairs and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I cannot give you this." I start getting nervous. I'm like, man, what the fuck did I just take?
That's
Hopefully,
crazy.
hopefully it's, your path. How long has that been?
2021.
Okay, that's good. Usually the symptoms, like what was that thing where your eyeball rolls? Remember Justin Bieber's eyeball was rolling around? All of those types of Bell's palsy things and heart attacks and stuff should be out of the
Yeah,
way.
I'm seeing a lot of
it's
people
some
with
it's some
vitiligo.
symptoms that we don't talk. When let me look through my paperwork. We'll talk.
Everybody's genetics responds differently, though.
Hopefully
I
yours
guess.
didn't get harmed. I know people that took it that didn't get harmed, and then I know people that took it and it did not go very well. I don't know
You have to
anyone.
look at my
Go ahead.
you have to look at my position in that situation. I was charged to study um um the Mississippi Delta. That's black people. But I worked. I went one neighborhood. I got my zip codes with black people, but for one neighborhood was white. And you're right. There were different reactions to it. You're right about that, buddy. That's all I'm gonna say. And I start wondering why is it reacting this way with black people and reacting like, you know, all is well with this
Did
group.
you know
I saw,
did you know that because of Asian hate quotation marks, um, Asians did not have to be reported uh, in the statistics? So the statistics are skewed because the doctors were told not to report that they had it because they know it's going to be overwhelmingly them because that's where it came from. There's no way to convince me otherwise because I was watching Chinese TV shows and local people, they had bodies piled up and they couldn't even, they had a guy that died in the crematorium because he couldn't cremate people fast enough. They were working 24 hours a day and they it was a complete mess over there in China. People were jumping out of their apartments because they couldn't get food to them and they did die. So it was there first. And it came right here
wow.
because we wouldn't close the airports because this country's open wider than Kamala Harris's legs. And I don't know what our problem is. They wouldn't stop the cruise lines. They wouldn't close the country. What are we doing? They can't close the country. They have a problem where they can't close this country no matter what. And people were coming across the border from Mexico and they were swabbing their mouths, and 117 people had COVID, and they put them on a bus and they had drove and they went further into America. They didn't treat them, they didn't give them a shot, they didn't turn them around, they didn't hold them, they just sent them right in. And they're going to do that with monkeypox, and we're going to be getting mumps again. And that's why it's so sad because the vaccinations that have been helpful, I can't recommend them. I took all of them several times because I was in the military, so I had to take them all again. And when you travel, you have to take them. But I can't say yeah, take them because I don't know what they are now. I don't, maybe they are giving people autism. Maybe they are not administering them properly and giving enough time in between. But we're going to get more polio and mumps and all that stuff is coming back because we have all these people that are backward and they don't believe in germs. That's another issue. These immigrants coming over here. I can't see the germs. Oh, you know what? That's how English people thought. I don't see any germs, so I can just, poop in the river and give myself the plague.
Very true. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I enjoyed y'all. Wanda, you got any last words?
No, that's it.
Good night, y'all.